Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 7 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series for Split Yellow and Split Green from the ever wonderful, the most fantastic Symonds Plains Raceway in Launceston, Tasmania. No, of course. We are at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria, the Highlands of Austria. It is a nice, short racetrack here at the Red Bull Ring, and we are in for some fantastic racing. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight for Split Yellow is the ever wonderful Daniel Cicluna. How are you?
Thanks for the lovely intro there, Alexis. I was just about to say it's finally we're getting some decent tracks in ACC, but I mean, Red Bull Ring is still a really nice track, but we need a bit more Australian representation, I reckon.
Yes, it is certainly a potential option in the future with the GT World Challenge Australia series. Of course, they race at plenty of fantastic racetracks around the country, including Bathurst, which is already in the game. I don't know where they race at Symonds Plains or not, but they definitely race at a few other racetracks around, like Sydney Motorsport Park they race at.
And then comes to mind, they even raced at Adelaide last year. I was at Adelaide last year, and they ran the GT3s there. Must I say, like seeing GT3s in real life, plus at Bathurst as well. I've been to Bathurst when they ran GT3s. The sound, phenomenal. Like, you think they sound good in game? Some of you might think like, oh, they're a little bit, they're a bit muffled in game. No, go to a real life racetrack with GT3s, phenomenal sound.
It's the same with the Carrera Cup cars. Listening to them run around Albert Park at the Australian Grand Prix, which, by the way, they head out on track for practice tomorrow morning. Yeah, those Carrera Cup cars are some of the loudest cars I have ever heard. But it's gonna have some fierce competition at the Australian Grand Prix this weekend for noise, given that I believe Jack Doohan's driving the 2000 Benetton around V10 era Formula One.
Yeah, we may have done that last week at the Adelaide Motor Festival. I'm not too sure, but I haven't really been keeping up with the cars that have been going down there. But from what I've heard, it was some amazing. Sorry, my bad. That was Adelaide, but yeah, Melbourne, I'd say. Yeah, it's down there. But what I will say, supercars. I've had a sample of them at the Bathurst 500. As I went there a couple of weeks ago now, and yeah, the sound's phenomenal. It's Australian supercars. They're always going to sound amazing.
Yeah, that's it. The Gen 3 cars are very, very good in my opinion. Yeah, they have their issues with the parity and everything, but generally, once they get on top of that, I think the cars certainly have potential. So just looking through some of the times that have come on the board so far, Brimblecombe with a 28.5, immediately taken over there by Jamie Kozer in the 5.51 Ferrari with a 28.4. So Kozer already looking rather fast. Our champion for Split Yellow, who is Chris Keeley, is not racing tonight.
Yeah, big loss for this for Split Yellow here. Normally Chris Cooley's right at the front, challenging for race wins and there of the like, and yeah, having him out is a big opportunity for drivers like Koza, like Herod, and maybe even Brimblecombe once again shock us all with another win, and yeah, just it's a big opportunity for those to get some much needed points.
Yeah, absolutely, because yeah, the Pro Championship may be under wraps now, but it's still all to play for in the other classes. Currently in your silver class, Arno Loz, Sean Brimblecombe are separated by about 38 points at this stage, and both of them are racing tonight.
Yeah, as always, the silver class always puts in a good championship battle and fight. Yeah, and it's going to be just the same as Koza puts in a brilliant lap time, getting into the 27s. Very quick lap time, but I think the times are going to start coming down very shortly.
Certainly will, and we're looking at our current Pro-Am class leader, James Atkinson, who is currently only 13 points clear of Jug Sakanius and 24 points clear of Grant Liu. Grant Liu is definitely racing tonight. He's currently sitting in P7. Not too sure about Sakanius, of course. We've only got the 16 out there tonight because of other things going on, such as the aforementioned Australian Grand Prix. Yes, there you go. Sakanius is racing there, currently P12.
Yep, very good. And I'll say for Atkinson, he's been steadily getting better as the season goes on, and you can definitely see it with the results, especially in qualifying. His qualifying pace is really good. I believe he came from the did he come from the rookie series?
Yes, so I believe it was last season or the season prior. James Atkinson may have came from the rookie series. I do remember Atkinson and teammate Nigel Lammerman coming up from the rookie series. Lammerman there in the M class. Atkinson has since promoted himself up into the Pro-Am class. I mean, he has shown some spectacular pace out there. Talking of spectacular pace, Jamie Koza, 27.822. He's 6/10 clear of Atkinson at the moment. So Koza with some fantastic pace, but Atkinson too, showing exactly what he can do, and will most likely be promoted up to the silver class for next season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big change for Atkinson to go from AM to Pro-Am and then possibly to silver if he so chooses. I don't remember many drivers doing that in the past.
Yeah, there you go, getting confirmation from Meg in chat that Atkinson was in rookies last season. I think moved up partway through the Sprint Series season, sort of towards the latter end, as looks like Fleming may have moved up into P4 about 8/10 off Koza and only a 10th and a half off of the silver class lead in this session. We've got 6 minutes to go. Still time for these drivers to make improvements, especially at a track as short as this, as Lou now goes up into P5. So the Pro-Am fight certainly isn't over yet. Atkinson has had a few incidents throughout the season that has sort of kept the his Pro-Am rivals rather close, but yeah, it's everything to play for really in the silver class and Pro-Am class. The Pro class already closed up and sealed by Chris Cooley last week. In the AM class, it's pretty safe to expect Mike Crick will be taking the AM class win for this season for Split Yellow.
Well done, yeah. Cricky's just been, for me, you know, keeping it clean. That's the biggest thing I've seen. Yeah, 100%. He's just been consistently just keeping it in between the painted white lines, you know, just, you know, pacing himself in the races and all that, not going for audacious moves. When he needs to go for a move, he'll keep it cool, calm and calculated, and that wins your championships, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's it. And it's that clean consistency that has allowed Mike Crick to hold a fair advantage over the nearest rival who is racing tonight in Glenn Taplin. Glenn Taplin is about 90 points off. Andy Bishop was only 13 points off, but Bishop doesn't look to be racing here tonight, so that makes things a lot easier for Mike Crick. But you know, it's been a very, very interesting season here for Split Yellow, and of course, after this race, we will, or after Split Yellow wraps up just before 9 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, we will be crossing over to Split Green with a few extra new commentators, well, your usual fair new commentators for Split Green. Hopefully the numbers there are a little bit better, but even then, you can still have some fantastic racing with 16 cars out on track.
Oh, absolutely. Like, 16 cars is still a decent sized grid. Like, and people will say like they got a small grids and all that. You still get amazing racing, like between all the drivers there. Like, you know, as we see Taplin just having a big moment coming through the S's there, and yeah, just lost it there completely.
And his car just appears on the left-hand side like, hello, I am here. But he is currently leading the way of the AM-class drivers in this session. About 3.5 tenths clear of Mike Crick. I mean, I highly doubt there'll be any change in the AM class, as Brimbleham is looking for some improvement. He's gone up to a 28.1 and is looking to improve into the 27s. Won't find anything on this lap, so he'll have 2 more attempts to get something out of it. And he's got a little bit of a slipstream from another BMW in front, although that BMW's gone off track, and yeah, that's just scared Brimbleham a little bit, and he's gonna come into the pits quickly, put on a fresh set, and go for it for one last assault, I think.
That's it, just put on a fresh set of sticker tires and just send it out for one more, or Is he waiting a little bit, possibly for the very, very last moment to get his lap in? Yeah, there you go.
I think he's about to head off now. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe making a few last-minute changes to the setup. It's always dangerous at this
Fuel
time. Or maybe, fuel load as well. Possibly a little tweak here and there with the setup, but with just under 2 minutes to go, it's looking like Jamie Koza is rather safe. But now we're starting to get a few of the representative times in from the other pro drivers, like Sasha Dev. Sasha Dev was up on her split there, but just didn't get a good exit out of turn 3. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna count that as a corner. I'm going to count that as a corner.
Yes.
Turn 3.
On the official track map, that is turn 3. I mean, it's certainly more. Turn 2 is certainly more of a turn if you're in the motorbike team, and the motorbikes don't take that layout anymore. They have a chicane.
They have a chicane, yeah.
But
definitely due to reasons. That's
yes. Well, I mean,
a flashback to that horrible crash.
Yes. There's certainly been some big crashes that have happened here at the Red Bull Ring in MotoGP. I mean, the one that comes to mind was back in 2020 or something. It was the near miss with the bike with Rossi, and I think it was Quattararo as well involved in all of that as maybe too. So
yeah,
it was some big crashes. So they had to change it somewhere. But this will be Sasha Def's last attempt here as she starts with 30 seconds left on the clock. Nags that inside curb, and that's it. Just too wide.
And that's it. So the last pro on track. I'm really surprised to see Matthew Herod down there in 8th place. Bear in mind, it is very tight from 5th down to 8th. Only just over 2/10 separating 5th and 8th place. But Jamie Koza is improving once again. So, yeah, it's going to take some serious beating to, I reckon, beat this guy.
And certainly Koza seems to be well on it. Of course, he had a really, really good round last week, I should say, to used to commentating the F1 series. Yeah, no, Koza had a really, really good round last week and drove superbly to outmaneuver Chris Cooley through the pit stop cycles and took a very, very convincing win.
Excellent stuff, as we see people are just stopping their flying laps here, pulling off to the side as we see Koza with a big margin here, 0.2 of a second at a track like this. He's going to cement his place for pole, almost half a second quicker than the entire grid.
Yeah, that's a really good time from Koza. It'd be interesting to see what Brimcom does behind it. Will it be an improvement for him? No, I don't think it was. He stays P2, and that means it is Jamie Koza on pole from Sean Brimcom and Sasha Death, your top 3. And further down, you've got Webb and Atkinson, your leading Pro-Am drivers. That is really well done by the Pro-Ams, be P4 and P5. Then you had Fleming, Lou, and Herod, your top 8s.
Yeah, very, very, very good qualifying position for Webb actually in P4, being the top Pro-Am there. He's shown pace. He's shown glimpses of some solid driving throughout this whole series, and looks like it's starting to all come together. As we go through the rest of the grid, I see there is Kumar in P9, Taplin taking out an amateur pole in P10. My bad, sorry, that was Loz in P9, Kumar in P10, Taplin in P11 taking out the AM pole award, Bishop in 12th, Sanakis in 13th, Crick in 14th, our series leader in the M class, Lamaman, in P15, and rounding out the grid is Kranich in P16. As we see, alright, I guess we're gonna, alright, I guess we're just gonna chuck it to you guys in chat. So see some race predictions going on. I mean, I'm going to be a boring pick. And say that Koza will take this one pretty comfortably. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Saying the commentator's going through a tunnel. That is just my fan. So I'll have to move that fan further back a little bit.
Yeah, dealing with the fans going as the as the commentary goes. I think a few weekends back, when we had a nice heat wave here in Melbourne, had the fan running, had to have it facing the wall, so you'd still get the it seems that it's both this. It seems to be an LLA issue because I don't have my fan running at the moment. So there seems to be some other kind of audio issue going on.
Okay, I was going to say, because I was thinking, why is the fan on a little lower settings? I don't know why it's throwing so much static or something like that. It sound like they're talking into a fan. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I could probably try doing that. Try it at the end as we finally take the formation lead here. Koza leading the grid off with Brimble in second. Yeah. Pretty decent time. Absolutely ruthless tonight. So I was going to say predictions. I can't see anyone overtaking Koza. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be the boring pick and pick out Koza and Ferrari to take this guy out.
I'm going to be the entertaining pick, and I'm going to say that Webb wins this. We will be, the commentators will be back in a short moment. There's going to ridiculous things turn off all the fans, and hopefully we'll be back to commentate our starters very shortly.
All good. 1 sec. Alright, sorry about that interruption, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, and we're just about to take the start of this race here with Brimcombe a little bit further in front of Koza there, as this grid's looking a little bit weird here as we wait for the green light. Hold, and ooh! Bit of banjo action there as we are away and racing, and Brimblecombe gets the jump. Webb looking racy up the inside there, and Death and Koza take the outside there as we see Fleming there getting the jump on Atkinson as well. Brimblecombe shoots to the lead, and as we see Death and Webb battling it out for turn 3, as we're going to see a bit of a Constantino effect coming in through here. Everyone's 2x2 through that section, but it looks like, judging by the map, we are going to have a clean turn 3. Excellent job by everyone involved. And Brimblecombe just taking out the lead there as we see Lou trying around the outside of Herod there. Oh, there's Atkinson and Loz going around the outside there of turn 5, trying not to do an Albon there as Lou gets on the grass a little bit and keeps on the track. You never really know what's going to happen when they go on the track on the grass like that, but as we see there, it is a clean start. Well done for everyone in split yellow. Oh, don't curse. I don't want to curse Herod. Herod almost dips it into the grass, and he has to defend his position. Doesn't get a good exit there, but as we see coming to round out the first lap, it is Brimblecombe to Koza, Death to Webb, and Fleming is the end of your top 5. So great start there for Brimblecombe.
Yeah, it was a great start, although it was an out of position start from what I could tell. So I wonder what the stewards will think about that. But either way, Brimblecombe leads the way and has made a liar out of you as he managed to get past Koza with ease. Obviously with a little bit of assistance from the positioning, but he'll take it anyways for the moment and will sit in P1 pretty well. Interesting to know, I think it was Harsh Kumar who jumped the start pretty severely and has ultimately paid the price because he had to slow down as the green light went off. So everyone flew past him and he's now down in P15.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to make who was that car that was massively out of position. I'm not sure how the car gets so out of position like that. Maybe just an issue on his end with the like just lining up on the grid, so to speak. But yeah, we'll have to see what the stewards think about that start, because it was a bit chaotic, not gonna lie, seeing them so spread out, and then it finally started everyone bunching up again into the concertina effect 2x2, as we see Koza and now Death puts in a fastest lap. So those two Ferraris really wringing the necks out of those two Ferraris and keeping it close to Brimblecombe. So let me see, the top 3 is just slowly starting to get away from the pack, and we're going to see a very, very interesting next half an hour, I'd say, before the pit windows. We see Death looking up the inside of Koza, and Koza gets the decent run out of there. Death is left to not take as much track as Koza did, and Koza will keep his position. But yeah, it just leaves Brimblecombe to kind of eke his gap out just a touch.
Yeah, well, that was a fairly opportunistic move there from Sasha Death. She wasn't able to pull it off, but crucially she kept her nose clean and is able to continue fine. She looks like she's really good race pace in that Ferrari, so may have compromised qualifying a little bit just to get that pace for the race. As that is the most crucial part, she actually runs off the road there, going through turn 7 and into turn 8. So that leaves her at the mercy slightly of Webb, who's doing a very, very good job there in P4, and may even have an opportunity to fight for that Pro-Am Championship against Atkinson, depending on how other results go. But right now, your Silver Class champion would be Brimblecombe, and your Pro-Am Class champion, I believe, still would be Atkinson, but it'll be mighty, mighty close if things stay the way they are.
Yes, that's pretty standard when it comes to Silver and Pro-Am championships. They really come down right to the wire. And as we see, Daniel Webb still doing, I will say, great name by the way, doing a fantastic job out there, just keeping his nose clean and just keeping the 4th place, really solidifying his place in the top 4. So as we see, they are starting to spread out just a touch, but as this race goes on, I think we'll see the top 3 just kind of yo-yoing back and forth from, going for a move, putting the cut, kind of eking out the lead to the leader and coming back again. So yeah, don't think this race is over yet, as we see Koza looking very racy to Brimblecombe.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, with how short the track is and how long the straights are, slipstream game is going to be massive around here, and that BMW can create quite the draft for the car behind. So Koza will be very happy to sit in the slipstream for the moment. And Brimblecombe's holding his own. That's a 28.3. That's his best lap of the race for Sean Brimblecombe. So he's feeling pretty happy in that Pit Viper BMW.
Yeah, not too far off at all to the fast Ferraris behind him, as I believe Death has the fastest lap, and it's only maybe a couple of hundredths faster than Brimblecom. And remember, Death did have a lot, like a double slipstream, you could say. So, yeah, Brimblecom has got that BMW trimmed very nicely to run very slippery in a straight line.
Yes, certainly. I mean, yeah, there's no real way that the Ferraris are actually catching up to Brimblecom in a straight line, so the BMW seems to have a bit of grunt about it here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, one of the DLC tracks in this game, hence a little bit of the smaller attendance size, but we're still getting quite the storyline here with Sean leading. He did win a race earlier on in the season as well, so it'll be massive if he can hold on to this position.
Yeah, he certainly knows how to win a race, and you always get those nerves when you're leading overall, especially. But Brimblecom has showed that, you know, he's got nerves of steel when he needs them, and yeah, it's definitely proving tonight as we see Kumar looking very racy towards Cricky, as Lammerman wants to get into the act as well, and Kumar really just sending a message, really, like just getting tucked up right behind that massive spoiler. And I think he'll be thinking of making a move, possibly to turn 1, thinks better of it, and maybe into turn 3, as we see Glenn Taplin is slapped with a 10-second penalty for dangerous driving on lap 3. So that was a couple of laps back, as we see Kumar having maybe a little look. Nope, he's just going to take the racing line, maybe get a better exit off the corner to Cricky, as he's going to go try and round the outside. Takes a little bit of outside curb there, and I think he's got him. Yep.
Yeah, he's gone off track though. I don't think he'll be allowed to keep that. Crick is back up the inside though, going into turn 4. Kumar brakes super late, but Crick isn't letting him have any of it, and he bumps him off for good measure. But that allows Nigel Lammerman to get involved into the equation, but go around the outside turn 6, as the battle between Perez and Leclerc a few years ago showed, is that you can't really do it.
Yeah, you can't really do it, and you try and go around the outside around this track, 9 times out of 10 it really doesn't go well for you, as we see Cricky getting not a very good exit coming out of, I believe that's turn 8, and yeah, Kumar again, like, must be absolutely frustrating to be behind Cricky, but again, Cricky's just keeping it consistent, keeping it clean, you know, not trying to make too many mistakes, as one more lap. Cricky's in front of Kumar for just one more lap.
Yeah, and we'll see whether this is the lap. Oh dear.
Oh no, as we say that, Kumar has just outbraked himself, and I think that's going to be all she wrote for Kumar's race, as that's going to be a pretty hefty penalty. As we look to the front there, we see the gaps between first, second, and third very close. We might have just seen a move there. Koza's definitely under the pump from Death there, so that was a huge spot there. Ooh, thought they wouldn't have sorted out their little quarrel there, but again, they are line of stone once again.
Yeah, wow, this is shaping up to be a very interesting race. Of course, we've got the one mandatory pit stop in this race, hour and 5 minutes long. We've gone through 10 minutes so far, and looks like Fleming's actually gotten past Webb as well, so Webb back down to P5, which only improves the situation for Atkinson, who is still sitting in P7, has actually broken away from Herod a little bit, is right behind Arno Loz. So really good showing from the Pro-Am drivers in this race so far. Of course, Atkinson did drop down on the race start, but has since started to recover some time. But look at the pace that Fleming's got. Fleming is right on the back of this battle now.
Yeah, absolutely, just came out of nowhere. Once, it's almost like a bit of a cork in the bottle effect. Once he got past Webb, Fleming has just absolutely tacked himself to the back of this battle pack, and yeah, maybe Brimblecom was also involved in a little bit of kerfuffling and a little bit of battling between those two fast Ferraris. But yeah, Fleming has just made a massive gain. Yeah,
and well, I mean, you look at Fleming here. This is probably the first time he hasn't been spun round in the first 10 minutes of a race this season.
Yeah, it's always a bonus when you're able to get through the early stages of the race without getting contact. So yeah, hopefully all goes well. I'm definitely not foreshadowing as I've done in the past for a lot of drivers, including the man leading the pack right now. As we see Koza getting a very, very squirrely coming out of the final corner there. Death also having the same bit of oversteer off that final corner, as we see Sean Brimblecombe only just slightly improving on the fastest lap there, but it is a fastest lap without a toe. So again, Brimblecombe just giving very, very nice numbers for the lead of the race. And really, I think Koza and Def really need to get their act together. They almost need to start working with each other.
Ferrari teammates working together. Well, I mean, they're not teammates, but they're both in Ferraris. But Ferraris working together? No, that's impossible.
Yeah, no, Ferrari and teamwork don't really come into... Well, Ferrari teamwork and strategy really don't mix that well.
What is strategy even?
Go fast, be Italian, I don't know.
We are looking, we are checking.
Guppy, we are, something's wrong with the car. Copy chance, we are checking, Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, basically. But look at how quick Sasha Def is behind Koza. Koza doesn't seem to have the race pace at the moment. I wonder if he's just managing the tyres, but Sasha Def seems really, really quick. Either way, Sean Brimblecombe out front is doing a fantastic job, and there's been no penalty that's come through, so I wonder if the stewards have chalked it down to Koza maybe being a little bit conservative on the race start with his speed. Like he had the opportunity to speed up to get ahead of Brimblecombe where he really belonged to be, but chose not to. So I don't know what the situation is there, but maybe the stewards are still looking into it. I can't really say too much yet.
Yeah, as we see, I just saw Brimblecombe go wide, just at turn 1 and turn 3, and I thought that would have given the opportunity to Koza to possibly get a good exit and possibly mount a challenge. But yeah, just that M4 just absolutely showing no mercy to the straight line gods.
Absolutely, like that M4 is looking really, really pacey around here. It looks quite slippery in a straight line, and these Ferraris are going to have a big challenge ahead of them.
As we take a look at the rest of the grid, this seems to be the closest battle on track, as again, Depth is just getting very, very racy to Koza. Like, she really needs to mount a challenge now. And yeah, but still, just looking at, we're only 15 minutes into this race, and so I don't think an early pit stop is on the cards for any of these drivers. So they really need to, if Def wants to go for this outright win, she really, really needs to dispose of Koza and then get onto Brimblecombe as soon as possible.
Well, Koza is in the slipstream of Brimblecombe now. What will the exits be like out of the corner as Death goes really late on the brakes there? And I think that just scared Koza a little bit wide of the apex at turn 3. But right now they're still holding firm. They're P1, P2, P3. Fleming's starting to drop back a bit again. Meanwhile, further down, Arno Loz has dropped all the way down to P11. No idea what happened there. And Atkinson is down to P9.
Yeah, I just saw that in chat. Atkinson got the good old murdered, and same with Loz. So I would highly suspect that those two would have had a little bit of a coming together. Unfortunately, I didn't see any yellow flags. I did see them drop down the order, but I did not see any yellow flags. So yeah, we'll have to maybe get a replay on that one if possible. But still, this seems to be the closest battle here. Just a very oh, here we go. 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 10. I would say that is for Atkinson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit of sleuthing on my part there, and I think, you know, it was pretty obvious to see those two drivers sliding down the pack. You know,
Yeah.
there's, you know, pretty good chance that they would have had a little coming together.
Yes, and it was Arno Loz who picked up the 15-second penalty, hearing in chat that Arno Loz was quite the murderer. That is a pretty decent run from Jamie Koza coming out of turn 3. What is the slipstream like going down towards turn 4? The thing is, though, they're running very minimal wing around here, so there's not a whole lot of opportunity for the draft to actually have a huge effect. And, I mean, again, that BMW accelerating out of the corner is so good, but that's wide from Brimblecombe. Koza around the outside, going into turn 6. Brimblecombe, he backs out of it, and that is Koza up into P1 in this race. Brimblecombe held on for so long, but just made the mistake coming out of turn 4, going into the gravel, and that is a change for the lead.
Well, there we go. Brimblecombe did a valiant effort to keep in front there, but Koza only needed just that one little invitation. As we see Brimblecombe maybe have a move up the inside, but thinks better of it. Koza breaks super late, and it keeps his Ferrari in a great position, and Brimblecombe's now just dropping back, and Death might have a go coming into turn 1 and maybe turn 3 if things go Death's way. But out in front now, Koza is now got a very slender lead as Brimblecombe had a little bit of a sideways moment coming out there. That is all the invitation that Death needs as they come side by side going into turn 3. There's just a slight overlap there. Brimblecombe's going to brake as late as he can, but Death is going to show him the outside of the road, take charge of the corner, and that is Death up to P2. Brimblecombe had a shocker of a lap.
That was a crucial move for Sasha Death. She has an opportunity now if Brimblecombe doesn't go back up the inside. Going into turn 4, that's going to be tight between the two of them. Is there going to be a Hamilton Albon moment? There is a little bit of a contact, but they managed to get through a corner now. Sasha Death has the inside going to turn 6. She kind of half backs out, but there's a little bit of rubber banding going on, but Brimblecombe holds on to the position. Wow, that was a heck of a move up the inside going into turn 4. That's just a straight line speed of the BMW talking there.
Well, I was holding my breath while they were going through turn 5, but yeah, that looks like such almost a carbon copy of Hamilton and Albon from 2020. But yeah, it was just like, oh no, it was 2019?
It was 2020. It was
2020. There we go. So yeah, I was definitely holding my breath there, and I was thinking with all the rubber banding as well, coming into the very next corner. Well, I thought we were going to see a very unfortunate end to both of their races, but cooler heads prevailed, and we still have the battle pack going on.
You know, that was some fantastic racing between those two to somehow keep it as clean as you really can. But all this has allowed is Jamie Koza to run off into the distance, 1.8 seconds clear of Sean Brimblecombe. But now that Brimblecombe isn't under so much pressure from the Ferrari behind, he may be able to start stretching the legs of that BMW just that little bit more. Although I think Koza has a bit more pace, and that Ferrari was just a bit held back in the dirty air from the BMW.
Yeah, absolutely. That Koza is prancing off into the distance with that Ferrari, and Brimblecombe really just has to, go and how do I say it? It's just take stock of what he's got. Death is still behind. As we take a look at the replay of Loz and Atkinson there, definite. I could see it right from the start there. Loz just slightly later on the brakes to Atkinson, and an unfortunate coming together, as it just goes to show that you brake just that split second too late, and yeah, that split second is what puts you from making it through the corner and being stuffed into the rear bumper of another car in front of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a 15-second penalty given to Loz for that, which is absolutely fair. But my question is, where is Kumar's penalty for doing the exact same thing to Mike Crick at the exact same corner.
Yeah, well, it's becoming a bit of a danger zone, that turn 1. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that corner develops. As we take a look at the rest of the grid, we see Atkinson's very close to Bishop right now, only a 10th behind. If we can see here, as we see a move now from Atkinson down the inside of Bishop. Very, very well done, but Bishop might get a bit of a run here. Atkinson ran a little bit wide, but no, job done. Fantastic move from Atkinson. That only solidifies his spot at the top of the Pro-Am standings. Brilliant job.
Super dive from Atkinson. That was really well executed. No issues there as Bishop is around. Oh, he saved it though. He saved it. Wow. That looks like it was going into the wall for all money.
Yeah, wowee. I think he made a very similar error. Or maybe, sorry, no, that was Taplin who made that error in qualifying. But yeah, that BMW's not really liking that corner too much, as now Atkinson can focus on his next target in Sinakis, who's very quietly had a very nice race. Coming up from, I believe he was around P13 at the start of the race, now in P6. So just silently, just going about his business, and yeah, ending up solidly in the top 10.
Yeah, for the moment, that's a pretty solid effort from Sakanis. Of course, there have been a few drivers that have come into the pits, including Fleming, Lou, Kumar, and Arno Loz, who had that 15-second penalty earlier. As there is a bit of rubber banding going on in this lobby, a bit of few alien activities. Of course, we got some very fast aliens out front in Koza, Brimblecombe, and Death, as Fleming is currently the lead driver of the ones who have come into the pits, and he's looking to try and get the undercuts on Death and Brimblecombe.
Yeah, not a bad idea, to be honest. 41 minutes left to go, so pit stops are going to be on the agenda for the next at least 5 to 10 minutes. As we see again, Death just reading all the part numbers on that rear bumper and the spoiler.
Ferrari were almost going to need to get investigated for a Spygate incident with how closely Death is examining the rear wing of the BMW. Although soon, I reckon she's going to have enough of that, and she is going to go for the move. Can't get the exit out of turn 3, just catching that inside curb. But yeah, for the moment, Brimblecombe is holding strong with the pace that BMW has in the straight line, and Jamie Koza is just running away out front.
Yeah, Jamie Koza definitely doing his best Max Verstappen impression, as the rest of the grid decides to have a bit of a battle, a bit of a tussle, which is what we always want to see. We always want to see some great racing, and it's been a kind of mixture tonight. There's been some great overtakes, some not so good. But yeah, mostly though, it's been very clean, and yeah, we've got another 40 minutes to go, and another 40 minutes to look forward to.
Yes, that's it. Still plenty of time in this race for things to happen, and of course there was plenty that happened last week, so certainly be a few things that can happen here as Brimblecombe and Death continue on for another lap. They probably won't be in for a little while yet. Jamie Koza can pretty much control his strategy from here, and he's found a nice upturn in form towards the last day of the season. Of course, had a very good season, but wasn't able to clinch the championship due to Chris Cooley just doing Chris Cooley things, really.
Yeah, sprinkle maybe a little bit of bad luck in there as well, as I believe he disconnected one race.
Yes.
Yes, so had an unfortunate, it was almost a DNF, but I believe he came back in just to get some crucial points. They all count.
That probably would have been his drop round.
That's it. So yeah, it's just lucky that he's kind of hasn't minimized his bad rounds. So yeah, could have, would have, should have. They could say that for all the drivers, to be honest.
Yeah. That's it. Brimcom was just a touch wide there. Didn't quite get the exit. Sasha right in the slipstream. Not really going to get a great run through the second last corner. She's going to run a little bit wide. That'll be a track limits warning. And that'll be something to keep an eye on in this race. Are those track limits? And I think Brimcom might actually be nursing those track limits a little bit, because he's staying well clear of the outside curbs.
Yeah, I mean, we remember back in the back when F1 was racing at the Red Bull Ring, they had so many track cut violations to
5-second penalty to Esteban Ocon.
Exactly, yeah. For this race, it was just 5-second penalty to Esteban Ocon. But yeah, like I'm very, very surprised that it is, not a single drive-through has come through, and we're halfway into the race now, and all drivers are doing very well at the moment to not get a track violate, get the dreaded too many track cuts.
Yes.
Drive through and all that. Sorry, words are a bit hard right now.
Track limits warnings.
Track limits warnings, and yeah. So just wait. I'm just waiting from 5 minutes from now for like 5 drivers to get a drive through. So yeah, I'll see myself out.
It's bound to happen. Again, at a track like this, it is always bound to happen. And another thing to keep an eye on is that pit entry, because that pit entry line extends from the second last corner at turn 9, and it is a solid white line, so not sure where the stewards will be keeping a close eye on that, but I believe the drivers will have to abide by that solid white line and stay within the pit lane limits.
Yeah, very interesting. Same with your pit exits. You got to keep in between the white lines coming on your pit exits. Same thing with the pit entries. So, yeah, no tomfoolery will be tolerated, I think. Is that what the stewards are implying?
Don't be a menace.
Or don't be a menace if you're Josh Revell.
Yes. Yes, the classic Josh Revell line. As Taplin is starting to close in on the creek, but has just made a few errors through the last couple of corners. Just looking through the order, there's a nice close battle forming between Sakanias and Atkinson. We know Atkinson can pull some pretty nice moves on drivers, and has had a really good fight back, to be fair, after getting a bit murdered by Arno Loz earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've just been watching that gap in the corner of my eye just come down ever so slightly. I think we'll see that gap get down a little bit more as, oh, never mind, it has gone out to 0.8 of a second, but, yeah, it's gone down from... Yeah, we've gone down from 2.5 to 1.5, and now down to 0.8 of a second, so Atkinson definitely on the charge right now. It's just a matter of who blinks first when it comes to coming into the pits.
I mean, it's a good thing you had in terms of going into the pits, because if they weren't blinking, then I think their eyes would be completely dry.
Yes, well, yeah, not blinking for a solid 40 minutes is not healthy.
Yeah, I mean, even if you divide that by 10, not blinking for 4 minutes still really isn't the most healthy thing.
Yeah.
Paul Kranich. Fleming's just starting to catch up to the drivers who haven't pit yet, like towards the back. I mean, we know Kranich won't be in the pits for about another 25 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He likes to run it right to the end of the pit window. So yeah, I think we'll see another Kranich special once again. As well, I love the the team name of Jacob Fleming. Of Ford Truck and Ranger.
That's a Ford Truck and Ranger.
That's a truck Ford Ranger.
You know it.
Oh, son of a gun. As we see Brimblecombe coming into the pits, so out of the front 3, Brimblecombe is the first to dive into the pits. Maybe definitely going for that undercut going to try and make it work around the Red Bull ring. So now that the two fast Ferraris have seen Brimblecombe come in, what's next?
Well, Death is now clear to just drive on, so I think she'll be out for another 10 minutes or so. Koza can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Koza's definitely got a massive lead now, 5 seconds to Death. So all that battling that Sasha has done has definitely hurt her tires and really hurt her pace. So if I were Death, I'd come into the pits at the end of this lap, put a fresh set of boots, clear the mind, and yeah, start putting a charge on Jamie Koza for the win.
I think the biggest thing to keep an eye on is the gap between Fleming and Brimblecombe on the exit. Brimblecombe's just coming out of the pits now. Fleming is on the front straightaway, so there is actually a pretty substantial gap between them. So the undercut is not as effective around here as we thought it may have been.
Yeah, we'll just have to see who's gonna blink now, as we see the front two have not come into the pits yet. It's yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on if they're gonna run as long as possible, or are they gonna try and get that fresh set of boots, get that mandatory pit stop out of the way as soon as they can. Well, as soon as the next couple laps, but yeah, Brimblecombe taking the earlier option, and a bit of clear track might help him actually. Well, for now.
For the moment, as Webb pits, Bishop also pits, so a couple more drivers taking their mandatory stop as we have just crossed over the halfway point in this race as well.
Yep, and Koza's just eking out that lead. It was 5 seconds. Now it's 5.4 seconds. We have a few more takers in pit lane there with Webb, and as mentioned before, Bishop coming into the pits. There's a lot of drivers now in the pits with Lammerman and Cricky in as well. They're coming in very, very close together. So yeah, it's going to be a battle off of pit road for those two. As we see the leaders coming through the last corner now, and yep, still going on for one more lap.
Yeah, again, I don't think they'll be in for a while, although Sasha.
There we go, Sasha. There we go.
So you've got some real jinxing powers today.
I thought it was going to be one Ferrari, and that Ferrari didn't come in, but the other Ferrari did. So yeah, Sasha Def into the pits, doing her scheduled pit stop. Now we'll have to see how Brimblecombe. Now have to see how Death comes out in relation to Brimblecombe, as as Brimblecombe will have a few laps to get those tires fired up and up to temperature, and so Death will have a bit of a gap to Brimblecombe, but she'll have to do the same.
Well, I mean, Brimblecombe is coming through turn 9 now. Death is not moving in the pits just yet. She's just moving now.
Ooh. So this is going to be very close on the pit exit here.
Brimbles has her. Brimbles has her. Brimbles will be running so much more speed, and yeah, there you go. Already. That's a huge margin.
Huge undercut. So Brimblecombe just making the most out of those fresh tires right now, and yeah, that's a huge gap.
That can't just be tires. That has to be a bad pit stop for Death.
Possibly. I mean, really, we'll have to get our sleuthing caps back on, and maybe just see if Death has just had a bit of a bad entry.
Or yeah, I don't know, but like the gap is now about 3 seconds between the two of them. So yeah, as Koza is into the pits now as well.
Pete's just saying Brimblecombe might not have changed tyres. That's an interesting point. Although, yeah, we'll have to even get the stopwatch out and see how long that pit stop was. As Koza now has finally made his mandatory pit stop as we come on board to, I believe Brimblecombe will come up in camera 1 very shortly.
Yeah, well, it was a 5-second stop difference between Brimblecombe and Death, so yeah, it's
huge.
very interesting.
As we see, Koza is very much ahead of Brimblecombe now, so yeah, it's
Hold on, Paul Cranach is taking his stop early.
oh my god, this is unheard of. Wait, how can we miss this?
Paul Cranach has just come out of the pits. He's taking his stop.
Oh my goodness, this is everyone get the record books out. There he goes as he pulls off. I believe he pulls off to the side there, and Cranach. That's got to be someone else driving. No, that can't be right.
That cannot be Paul Cranach in that car if the pit stop has been taken only just after half distance.
Very, very mature from Cranach there. So
character development.
So yeah, so that leaves basically Taplin and Herod yet to take their mandatory pit stops. Yeah, so that pretty much, I reckon, settles out the grid. I mean, Herod will be fighting, I believe he was fighting with Webb, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Interesting to know that gap between Brimblecombe and Death is stretched out to now 4.5 seconds. So yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, you can't really say much. You're just speechless of Brimblecombe's pace. So yeah, like the way Brimblecombe can run in clean air like that, like with no tow, no nothing, just just the pure fact that he's probably running, just probably less aero than a 2019 Williams, but yeah, it's
Williams for that matter.
Yeah, so it's well, we'll just have to see if Jeff can actually mount a challenge, as we already know Koza is 8 seconds up on Brimblecombe. Now, whether they've taken tyres or not, is left to be imagined, you could say.
I mean, I'd say with Brimblecombe's pace, he's definitely taken some tyres on. So I honestly think that difference in the pit time actually did come down to just the quality of the pit stop.
Yeah, that's it. As Herod has now one of the last two to take his mandatory pit stop. As we check the gap between Brimblecombe and Koza, was 8.1 seconds. Now it's gone down to 7.7 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, this race is definitely not over. If Brimblecombe can keep up this pace, then Koza is going to be in a lot of trouble here. But Koza, I believe, is now, his tyres have come up fully to pressures and temperatures, so this will be a lot more of a representative lap, I reckon.
Yeah, wow, Brimblecombe has really come alive and has looked super good. He's still holding the fast lap as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely not slowing down here, so
only 2/10 off of his fastest time of the race. Wow, that's solid from Sean Brimblecombe there, and definitely putting in all his work to get himself back in, or promoted up to Procross. I believe he was Pro-Am at the start of the season.
Indeed he was, and then he won that race and got promoted to Silver Class, and now, and we're kind of seeing, I even saw a couple of times at the start of the stream, a lot of people are saying Brimbles to Pro, hashtag Brimbles to Pro.
Yeah, that's totally what they were saying. Absolutely what they were saying.
Yeah.
Plenty of Brimblecombe supporters in the chat that want him to do fantastically well.
Yes, and get that promotion. He's so you could say very much deserves, and then totally not sink in pro hell. But by the looks of things, he does have the pace on Koza right now. So, you know, a pro class promotion may not be too far from the truth. We may joke about it now, but Brimblecom is turning some serious pace now as that gap just keeps coming further and further down. Well done.
But crucially, the gap between Brimblecom and Death also came down a little bit. So they're all just converging on each other. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it will. But this will be a huge boost of confidence for Sean Brimblecom going into the next season after some very, very tricky rounds with incidents.
Yeah, exactly. He cleans his driving up and just keeps this amazing pace going. Gap now down to 7.3 seconds. Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing Brimblecom up the pointy end of the field more often with less incidents. So that's a scary combination when you consider the pace he's putting on now. We'll just see the gap now. It's gone down slightly, but yeah, on aggregate, you could say it has gone up from the previous lap.
Yeah, and there you go. Sasha Death has gone by about 2/10 a lap. So, yeah, it's interesting. Very, very interesting. We are further down. Webb is right on the back of Fleming now. So, Webb doing pretty well. Atkinson still holding firm in P7. 10 seconds behind Matthew Herod.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that develops, and yeah, we're seeing a lot of little battle packs going on. Fleming versus Webb. We've got Bishop versus Lou, and then we got possibly Lammerman versus Crick for that final for that Pro-Am victory. It's going to end up being very close for the AM class. Yeah, with Taplin taking that penalty and him definitely being the paciest of the bunch. So we might even see like a little AM sandwich by the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. Crick leading the way of the AMs at the minute. I mean, if we're talking about an AM sandwich, it's all just bread in that sandwich. not even like a smear of not even a smear of Vegemite or any kind of spread. Nothing. Just nothing. It's like you took a Big Mac and you took out all the filling, and it's just the burger buns and the middle bun.
Yeah. I mean, Macca's bread is pretty damn tasty. I'd still eat that. As we see, Webb and Fleming having a nice battle here. So it's a battle of the beamers. That rolls off the tongue very nicely.
Webb actually got through on Fleming.
Oh, Webb got through on Fleming. My bad. So yeah, Webb putting the silver class driver to the sword there. And I mean, Fleming definitely ain't gonna like that as Webb runs just a little bit wide. And yeah, definitely Fleming, a good fight back actually from Fleming. I believe he took an early pit stop. My bad, but took an early pit stop. So
must have had a slow pit stop as well, because he dropped a long way back from the lead battle, because he was right in the thick of that, and then just plummeted.
Yeah, we were thinking like that gap wasn't as big as we first thought it was when he first took the pit stop, but then we kind of saw the gap between himself and Brimblecom, and we're just like, that's a bigger gap. That's a bigger gap.
That's a bigger gap.
Not very good, very nice.
No. There we go. Fast lap. Oh my god, a 28-1. Holy moly. Look. So, Koza and Brimblecom's, the gap there, 6.7 seconds. Brimblecom and Death, 3.5.
Both gaps. Wow. Sorry.
I don't think Koza will come under pressure, even at the end of this race. Brimblecom, though, it may be under a fair bit of pressure from Sasha Death at the end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Death is just charging like a train. Yeah, just bringing that gap down at a pretty substantial rate now. now with that fastest lap, as yeah, we're not 3.5 seconds back with 18 minutes to go. It is most definitely possible. And just seeing the split just from one sector alone, 3/10 up on Brimblecom. So yeah, we're gonna see a very feisty finish, I reckon, from the Beamer and the Ferrari there.
Fezzuzi supremacy here at the moment. Sashida getting 2/10 in that middle sector and is looking very strong. I wonder if Koza might be trying to fight for fast second, but look how fast Sashida seems to be going. She's got that Ferrari hooked up pretty well. Brimblecom starting to lose time. Sashida continuing to gain time. Brimblecom may have used the best of those tires now and is starting to hurt.
Yeah, that was a huge
that's
huge
wide.
Yeah, very much wide there. So may have just had to back off just ever so slightly before getting back onto the track there. But yeah, Sasha Def making a huge gain in that final sector. Just kind of stagnated there with that wide moment into turn 1. But yeah, that final sector, I reckon, was about half a second taken out of the gap there. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that was why. 29.2 last lap from Brimblecom. He really did not have a good lap. Although this lap is looking like it might be a little bit better for him. He is only about a 10th off of his best time of the race so far.
Must have just hit a not so tasty sausage curb through this section of the track. So yeah, we'll just have to watch through that as we see Def just going through this section here very quick, and yeah, just puts the car right on the spot, right where she wants it. And yeah, the gap's not coming down, but Def is definitely in better form. Let's just say that.
Definitely.
Come on. How have we not made that? How have we not made that joke for the whole time we've done this series? How has that slipped
The
our
whole time
minds?
in this series until now.
How has that slipped our minds?
Oh my. Okay, so Sasha Death is currently taking the pre 2010 line through turn 1 there when track limits didn't matter in F1.
Yeah, as we see, like you would see turn 1 for a lot of lap 1, turn 1, like photos you see of Red Bull Ring, and it's just the field spread out like 5-6 wide. So yeah, definitely very alternate and imaginary lines going on in that era.
Building the racetrack herself is a Sasha Death.
That's it. Well, but 15, just over 15 minutes to go, and Brimblecom, a little bit of a wiggle, just a little wiggle, and
Bit of a hot potato in that car at the moment.
that's it. I wonder what would
Although it is kind of a big red car too, to be fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely being the red wiggle there, getting a nice little sideways moment. So I think we saw there's a car that was off there. I think it was Kranich. Yeah, Kranich just had a little bit of an off at the final corner there. Weird place to go off there. Anyways, oh sorry, no, Kranich, that was 87. That was Cricky, I think. That was off.
Yeah,
number
it was
87.
tricky because he's dropped all the way down from P13.
Brimblecom's off. Brimblecom's had it off. Oh my goodness, that's a huge off. Brimblecom's in the wall, and he's just had to flick it round 180 degrees there. We just completely missed that. Brimblecom has completely bottled the first corner there. We'd have to take a replay there. He's lost 15 seconds from that. That is a huge, and he's lost fourth. He's lost the podium as well. This is absolute madness, absolute scenes, and he might lose P4 here, as P5 is breathing down his neck. We'd have to take a replay of that for sure.
The hot potato turned into cold spaghetti.
Oh, harsh but true, as Brimblecom goes from hero to zero. Wow, that was we'd have to take a look at a replay of that, because I completely just missed it, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, or as I should say, the potato crumbles. Maybe. I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. But
Well, I mean, it depends how you cook them.
and we'll leave it at that. As
But, well,
now
I mean,
we've
talking about cooking, I'm just keeping an eye on that chat at the minute, as here is a replay of what the actual turn 1 curb, and that is a bit of a back wall, and oh dear.
Oh, big clatter of that curb, that inside curb into turn 1 has just completely offset the balance of the car and has just speared him straight into the outside wall. Had to flick it 180 degrees, and that's so unfortunate for Brimblecom, who was doing so damn well to keep that thing in P2. Whether he's taken tyres or not is, well, we believe he has taken tyres with the pace he was setting in that middle part of the stint. But now he's under, with those rear tyres possibly ballooning to the moon. We've got Fleming right on his backside, just looking for just a little sniff here and there to try and take P4 away.
While keeping the food theme alive, we've got another sandwich of just bread.
just a Beamer sandwich, which is a very German sandwich, I say. Just bread, and bread.
Yes. A breadwurst, a breadwurst, and a breadwurst.
Very, very, very nice. That actually doesn't sound too bad. Just have 3 stacks of bratwurst. I think. Excuse my horrible German pronunciation, but yeah, as we see. Oh, hang on. As we see a big move here, and Brimblecom makes it easy around the outside. I wonder what's going on with Webb. Webb's just all of a sudden just lost a lot of time. Fleming goes up the inside and now has the dominant line going into turn 1. He owns the corner, and Webb just losing a lot of pace. We'd have to see, might have just had a bit of a moment coming through the final 2 corners and just surrendering those 2 positions to the 2 Beamers, keeping the sandwich very nicely, tightly packed.
Yes, it's quite a move from Brimblecom up the inside. Fleming's just gone a little bit wide there, but I don't think not much Webb can really do about it. So just got a little bit bugged there. Did good, very, very good name, Webb.
Yeah, absolutely. Very unfortunate, as yeah, the other Daniel is well, us Daniels unite there. So
I'm a Daniel in spirit.
yes, exactly. As we well, he's still got the top 5. So honestly, a top 5, whether you're running with 30 cars or you're running with 16 cars, a top 5 is still a good result. So, you know, that's definitely, you know, no matter if you do it a big grid or a small grid, you've got to be in it to win it. And the top 5 is still, you know, a fantastic result from, and still the leading Pro-Am.
Yes, unfortunately, it won't really help him too much in the championship compared to Atkinson, but it might move him ahead of Lou and Sicanius, depending on how the other results pan out. But he's starting to look a little bit more racy again behind Fleming. And I know Webb definitely had the pace earlier on to hold off Fleming, so it's whether he can get back past him again.
Yeah, Webb will just have to take a few deep breaths, you know, try to take a recollection and just, you know, ease back into the pace that he was running earlier on in the race, because that was some very decent pace. And you know, just try and put one past Fleming, you could say, because yeah, it's kind of the only battle pack that's going on at the moment.
Yes, and I mean, despite having as little cars as we had, we've still had a very interesting race. Definitely a little bit more tame than what we're used to, but still, if you compared this to real life, it was very entertaining. As Koza out front, he is starting to put in a few laps, still nothing spectacular, 29 flat. Death behind is about on similar pace now, so the tyres are definitely starting to bore, so I think that 28.122 will remain as the fastest lap in this race.
Yeah, and Death just turning on the jets for that middle part of the stint, but as you can see, the tires are really not having a good time, braking late into turn 3 there, and yeah, the tires are definitely begging for mercy going into the braking zones, and yeah, that gap, it's still, you know, staying stagnant. So just imagine if Def didn't get stuck behind Brimblecombe for so long, she could have possibly been in with an outside shot of taking the win away from Koza.
Definitely. Oh, that's like.
Yes.
Death is certainly pushing.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, no, I can't get that out of my head now. I can't get it out of my head, Alexis. Yeah, it's gonna be on my mind for the next week or so. Yes, I've definitely cursed another driver once again. Yeah, it just keeps it shows no mercy, my curse. As a 29.3, still not too bad of a lap, but yeah, Koza has just pounced on that opportunity to get even further away and further cement his place in first place.
His place in first place, yes indeed, as we got 7 minutes to go in this one. 9 seconds between Koza and Death, and about 14 to 15 seconds between Death and Brimblecombe. I mean, what could have been for Brimblecombe? He is still under a little bit of pressure from Fleming and Webb behind. He hasn't been able to shake them off as easily as he would have liked.
Taking a look at the rest of the grid, we've got Atkinson looking for a move on Herod now. They're looking very close, about 4/10 apart. So Herod just losing a little bit of pace at the end of this race here. He's just fighting to hold on as we see Atkinson right tucked up on the rear wing there. Or is Atkinson's going to try and run it around the outside? This is not going to end well. And almost made a bit of contact, and somehow they keep it clean. Atkinson still ambitious, still looking for a move up the inside, pokes the nose in. Herod does have to give the room, and Atkinson, just a little bit of a wiggle coming out of that corner, and Atkinson coming up the inside there, switches back. Herod tries to switch back and switches back one more time, but Atkinson gets the move done. But how long is he going to keep hold of it, as we see Herod right tucked up under the wing once more, and Atkinson, I think the move is done. Excellent work from the Pro-Am driver.
That was a spectacular move from Atkinson. Holy moly. That is worthy of definitely silver class quality. Like, holding around the outside through turn 4, ducking up the inside into turn 6, and maintaining that position through turn 7 against a driver of Matthew Herod's quality. Just simply stunning. Simply lovely.
Simply lovely. As we see Atkinson, I just can't fathom how quick he's taken to these cars. Like, every single race he seems to be making a step forward, and yeah, at this rate of knots, he's going to become a very capable silver class driver at the very least by the end of next season.
Here is Harsh Kumar behind Arno Loz, the two murderers in this race.
Yes, I was gonna say the two incident. Let's just say. No, I wouldn't say. I was gonna say incident prone.
Incident instigators.
Yeah, that rolls off the tongue very nicely. Incident instigators. So yeah, hopefully they can keep it clean once again. But I mean, it was an unfortunate coming together for both incidents. But hopefully they can keep it clean for the last 4 minutes of the race, as I think Kumar definitely has the pace on Loz.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Kumar has a fair amount of pace. Still very curious as to why there was no penalty earlier, but either way, they found themselves in pretty similar spots. And they're both in the silver class. Unoloz is currently leading the way, but won't be for long because by the time this race finishes, Brimblecombe will be your silver class champion.
Yes, which will be, I've been requested to say this again, simply lovely.
Simply lovely. Thank you, Max Verstappen, for ruining that phrase for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that was alright, Larry.
I probably know the Dutch national anthem more than I know the Australian national anthem nowadays.
Yeah. Cringe from a commentary team. Okay. Yeah, we're still getting blasted. Alright. Fair enough.
Thank you, Fistlefart.
Yeah, as we come to the last 3 minutes of the race here, and as Webb, hang on, well, you see for P4 there, Webb is very, very close, very close to Fleming there. We'll have to see if we can get onto that battle. Get onto that battle very.
Oh, and that's Fleming wide. That's Webb right up the inside after Fleming goes quite deep into turn 3, and now side by side on the run down into turn 4. Who gets the run here? Will it be Webb up the inside or Fleming holding around the outside? Fleming brakes super late. Webb holding on the inside, but now Fleming has the optimal line and has the crossover and stays ahead somehow.
Excellent driving from the both of them, just to, you know, keep it contact free and putting on a good show for everyone involved. For the last, and this is for P4, and well, definitely a very good position for this race. We've only got just over a lap and a bit to go now, as yeah, this battle is not over yet. One little slip up, one little false move, and Webb is just going to take that position very easily.
Yes, well, they are now on the penultimate lap of this race. Jamie Koza will be able to do one more lap after this one. And, oh, there's a little bit of a slipstream to help Fleming here from the blue flag car. I believe that is Glenn Taplin. There is no Liam Taplin in this race, so we can just refer to him as Taplin. But again, Fleming doesn't really get the greatest run, but this time he at least holds firm going through the corner. And now here comes Webb. I don't think there'll be enough on this occasion. But Koza going through the final sector now. He will start one more lap in this race to round off the season, as that is Fleming getting very crossed up coming out of turn 4. Webb trying to get up the inside, and he's going to go for a dive. Fleming goes a bit wide. That's going to open the door for Webb to potentially go up the inside into turn 7, but he backs out of it a little bit. But Fleming is still very wide.
Way wide, and Webb definitely has the run coming into the second to last corner. There's a bit of a touch there, and Fleming not happy with himself going so wide for that corner, and Webb is just able to sweep round the outside for that second to last corner and take back P4.
Wow, what extraordinary racing between the two BMWs. Webb going for the moves. Fleming just trying to hold in there, leaving as much room as possible. He does not want to get contact on the last lap, as we are onto the last lap now. Jamie Koza, what a race from him. He took pole position, got the race lead taken off of him very early on with Brimblecombe's fantastic start, but was able to get a move after Brimblecombe made a mistake, and since then he has not looked back. 8 seconds clear of Sash Death, and Jamie Koza is going to be taking back-to-back wins. He's just coming through the final few corners now, and well, what a way to end off the season for Jamie Koza. It may not be the championship, but it certainly puts him in very good stead going into the next season but this will round out Split Yellow here as Jamie Koza rounds the final corner, and he will cross the line here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg to win round 7 of the Asia Pacific Split Yellow Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series race here. Fantastic display, 44 laps of racing there. That was brilliant stuff. Sasha Death coming home in a brilliant second place. She had excellent pace and takes the fastest lap as well for 28.122. Brimblecombe is your silver class winner and your silver class champion, if you don't mind, with P3 overall. Webb P4, but it won't be enough to take the Pro-Am Championship as Fleming crosses the line, seemingly running out of fuel right on the line as well. So I don't think he was going to keep P4 regardless, but James Atkinson behind. He finishes P2 in Pro-Am class, P6 overall, and he is your Pro-Am champion for Split Yellow this season.
And I'll just add, all of the M drivers have all crossed the finish line, which means without any further altercations with the points, Mike Cricky will be your AM class champion for this season of Split Yellow. But overall, a fantastic race, despite the smaller grid. Yeah, this has been a fantastic race. Battles up and down the field, and yeah, just a great showing from all of Split Yellow.
Yeah, that was fantastic stuff. Now, we'll hopefully be able to take a quick look through how the drivers finished off in that race, but that does actually round off Split Yellow for this season of the Simrigs Sprint Series. Don't go anywhere though, because we'll have Split Green coming up in a very short moment with our commentators, Cameron Fisselthwaite and Luke Johnson. But here are the race results. Jamie Koza rounding up the season in fine style with a 7.5 second win over Death, Brimblecombe, Webb and Fleming, your top 5 in the silver class. Brimblecombe is your winner and your silver class champion from Fleming, Bishop, Loz and Kumar. In the Pro-Am class, Webb won the day, but Atkinson is your Pro-Am champion from Lou and then Kranich in the race. And then in your AM class, you had Lemmerman, Taplin and Crick, who is your AM class champion. And of course, congratulations to Chris Cooley, who unfortunately did not make it tonight, who is our Pro class champion and our overall Split Yellow champion for this season.
Just an excellent seasonal round for all classes involved. Bit unfortunate for Chris Cooley not taking the final checkered flag there, but he would have picked up his trophy at the second to last round of the season. So he's chilling at home with his trophy, you know, doing some questionable things to it, but I'll leave it to the imagination of chat there. So yeah, this has been incredible fun to cover Split Yellow for this season.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be making the jump over to Split Green for qualifying mode. Thank you for joining me this season, Scoonie. That was fantastic to be commentating alongside you, and of course also to Mitch Hobbs, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. Thank you for jumping in the final few rounds, but we'll now switch over to Split Green and to our fresh new commentators in the booth. We've got Cameron Fisselthwaite and Luke Johnson in the booth. How are we, boys?
Good evening. Doing well. How are you guys?
Yes, doing fantastic. That was a really, really good race for Split Yellow, and it seems Split Green has a few more competitors in it, so looking like Split Green could be quite entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, Split Yellow always putting in a show as always, and yeah, definitely looking forward to Split Green. Welcome everybody to the last race of the season 16 at the Red Bull Ring. We have here Cameron joining me in the booth today. How you going, mate?
Yep, we have final round Split Green in the booth. Unfortunately, we are missing our stalwart Connor Hind in the booth as well. As he had to duck away at the last minute. Will be missed, and maybe just something, an arbitrary piece of furniture. We can pretend that's Connor Hind.
Yeah, we'll put the fake Connor in the booth to fill the spot for now, but
He's
it's
just water bottle now.
yeah, there we go.
Connor, your expert opinion?
It's no different from normal. There we go. So
We love you,
no,
Connor.
he knows we love him. So Cam, looking forward to tonight. Unfortunately, though, it's not going to be a championship decider for the overall championship, as the points will show that Mr. Benjamin Hignett is in front by more than 160 points. So at this point in time,
We'll
yes,
dock him 13 points. So
we'll dock him 13 points.
And Benjamin Hignett gets nothing, then he wins. Because, you know, it's all about the entertainment and not the sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in second place, we do have the man on screen, Brad Cook, leading. Well, not leading. He's second. He's only got a few points in front of Giacomin, though. So potentially second place up for grabs there. And Rashudi's back on track this week after missing out from last week, and he isn't too far either. And then looking for the top 5, we've got Jacob Weatherberg
here as well. Yeah, I was going to say, like, they're all in that tight-knit group for P3, 4, and 5, so...
Absolutely. So all to play for the second step onwards in the championship at the moment, which should be exciting. Will Luca Giacomin grab his first win for this season and potentially clinch second place? We will find out. And then looking down to our silver class, we've got Greco, who's in front of Ray Smith by a good, looks like a good 50 points, round about 50 points there. Quick maps. And that's followed by Tonkin, who is well and truly another 50 points, around about 50 points behind her as well. So a little bit to play for there in the Silver Championship. Pro-Am, you've got John Rad leading, who's only 20 points or so in front of Toccolini. So potentially still up for grabs there if both are in the server today. And then looking at the AM, there was Julian Gray who was leading, who I believe he was actually the only one turning up. He's turned up for the majority of races, so he will clinch, I dare say, the AM title post this race.
I don't believe he's here.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He's been in every other race so far. Would have been good to see him take out an AM win, but we've got Jeff Beaton, who is in second place on the AM table. He's on the grid at the moment, so looking forward to a solo AM performance.
Yeah, only 52 points between them as well. So. Potentially.
No, it is possible. It is possible. Anything can happen. That's the one thing I've learned about watching these sprint series, is that anything can happen. Except for Ben losing the championship.
Yeah. Although we can find a way.
That is very true.
Yeah, we're the masters of the universe. This is our playground.
That's right. We're in the comms box. We control everything.
Car here, Ben.
That's right. He did this on purpose. He rounded this out from the start when he was picking his car. He was like, "What's going to be the last round? Simmons Plains. Let's get the Ferrari." And he knew it was going to happen.
Absolutely. Although Simmons Plains, not as I remember it.
It's close. It's close enough.
Yeah, maybe people always say there's always a joke. Austria, Australia, they're all the same thing.
Yeah. Straight into a death corner. I'm sure it'll happen.
I like to think that's, usually American geography skills.
Yeah, that too. And we see in qualifying at the moment, as we see Hignett's rocking the denim jacket again on his Ferrari.
stole that
penis.
off Jeremy Clark.
A triple denim disaster. We've got Graham Hill in the Beamer. Beamer's another strong car around here, I've come to learn.
We did see a lot of that in Split Yellow as well, just before this race. Regardless of what class it was in, there was most of them were up the pointy end. Interesting to see where Ben Bittner is. Even I partake in a Red Bull race, race on the weekend, and didn't see any Mercedes there either. Granted, it was using a VOP, custom VOP, but yeah, I'm not sure where the Mercedes filters in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah, look, in terms of raw performance, yeah, I have no idea where the AMG sits, but at this point in time, it's not about the car, it's about the driver, as he's only 0.04 seconds behind in seconds, so he's definitely doing a good job. Tafik's up there. Yeah.
You know the rules. If you win, it's the phase technology here on. That's impressive. So you're saying if it, didn't change their livery every 5 minutes, it wouldn't be a problem?
Oh, I was so lost for a second there. So every time we flick screens, Mr. Hickman's driving a completely different coloured car. That is not going to be confusing at all throughout this entire race. I will not trip over that at all.
That's okay. We're not David Croft, and we don't get flummoxed. What's that thing in the distance? You can actually remember what colour the cars are.
I would enjoy that. That is very enjoyable and definitely going to confuse me. So we've still got 4 minutes left in this qualifying, as we see the blue-green Higgin go around. Cook's managed to get himself up there in the Porsche, which is an excellent effort. That's he's only 2 tenths behind. And he's got Tafik hot on his tails, who's just come out of the pits with a fresh set of rubber. And Rashudi, not too far behind as well, so that top 6 there, all within half a second, and it drops down a little bit to about 7 tenths with White there in the Aston, leading silver.
Definitely, this is probably one of the shortest lap in ACC. Definitely not really up in terms of track length, in track lap time in particular. I have noticed it does make for very close lap times up and down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is Red Bull Ring one of the, being a short lap, but is it one that you enjoy?
Oh, absolutely. This is a proper track, in my opinion. It's I've granted only really raced it in something a little bit lighter, a little bit more 800 horsepower than a Formula car and other sims, but it's still just as fun in the GTs, I think. So definitely some differences in corner speed across the different marks, as you'd expect with this track, to be honest. But I probably enjoy this track. Had a much better experience here than trying to race in Kota for the first time at the start of the season.
Yeah, I can firmly say that I believe Kota should go in the bin and is inferior relative to the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, no, yeah. you just asked Connor. He also thinks that Red Bull is superior to Kota for sure. Definitely, I'll speak on his behalf. No way to defend himself,
so
it's all good.
Insinuate that we would speak on his behalf. Don't ruin the magic.
Don't ruin the magic. No, hopefully you can jump in a little bit later and pop up in chat maybe to say hello.
Ouch. That's so rude. Anyway, Graham Hill. 10th and a half up.
10th and a half up in the Kirby Mobile. Look at him go.
2 tenths, he has got a car ahead of him. Doing their own lap, so they can't overtake. Might be a little bit of a distraction. I don't think there's really enough air wash to make a difference. Getting a little bit through the rig curve, and now the Rebel Mobile.
Ooh.
Did you name a corner after that? And that's well done. And that's through his next lap as well. That's not, he's not even going to bother.
That's really unfortunate. Oh, he's going to be a bit upset about that one. He had one more lap, definitely left in the tank, and maybe potentially two. And that's just put that to bed. I do wonder if he maybe did get a little bit of aero wash. Maybe. Hard to tell.
Our head did also mess up that corner, so it might have been enough of a distraction.
Yeah, just to put him off. So it's all down to Vintner to see who is one very line there. And he's just lost his 2 tenths, so see if he can make it up.
Could be anything. Could have had a horrendous last two corners on his previous. He is gaining time. Will it be enough? He only needs a tiny amount. 5 100s to take hold. And
He was level there for a second.
It's not going to be the case with Brad Bedwittner, but still P2 currently in the grid, and we'll have another attempt at the pole position.
He's definitely got it in him if he was able to gain back some of those couple of tenths there through the final sector. So, and he's invalidated his lap. That's unfortunate. Has he realised yet? I don't know if he's actually realised that it might be invalidated. He's still going around at blistering speeds, but we jump on board now to Hignett. Cook's jumped into the pits. Currently in third. He was only a tenth and a half off.
Messed it up.
Yeah, Hignett's messed up his as well. That's unfortunate. He's going to be finishing off in fourth. Greco now, who's less than 2 tenths. This top 5 is so tight.
McLaren also a very good car here as well, one to watch, and we know how good Greco's been throughout the whole season as well.
Yeah, he has done a fantastic job keeping the pace up at McLaren. He's had a bit of a slide there that's going to cost him a lot of time, and unfortunately, that's not the direction of the Delta that we want to see. But yeah, no, fantastic job throughout the season from Greco. He's done the McLaren proud.
That's a different postcode. They're all faltering on the last runs. It is a punishing track if you get it wrong.
Oh, we have someone who's up. We've got Tafiq. He's up by a tenth. This could potentially make him jump up a position or two if he manages to keep it, and he hasn't.
No. Oh, but we've got some rain.
Wow, we've got rain. Can I get rain clouds in chat?
Lucas Keys on the weather control as usual.
I tell you what, that's pretty unlucky. If you have not done any wet practice, and it's increasing in 10 and in 30 minutes, it's going to be a wet one.
Ooh. I was going to say, I haven't had many turns around this track, but all of them are in the dry, so this will be fascinating to watch.
This will be very fascinating to watch, as you couldn't have picked it because my understanding of the server settings was that it was going to be less than, I think it was 5% chance for wet.
Where is Graham Hill?
He saw the rain and was just like, you know what? I want none of this.
Find that man.
Graham Hill, where have you gone?
You can't stick it on pollen and dip.
Well, I mean, he can. That would be a baller move if he did. Has he disconnected, or did he legitimately just see the rain and was just like, I want none of this? Oh, we've lost someone else as well. And G. Coman actually was a name there that we didn't see in qualifying at all. So maybe he's planning on doing a last to first challenge.
In front of the grid there, like clearly you see.
He definitely, it was, yeah.
But whatever grid boxes were on the grid are just completely
ignored.
Lambo Fraser's back in as well.
Hills, the game's put Hill at the back of the pack.
I do know if you disconnect sometimes, whether it's before or after the pre-grid, you do get sent to the back. Regardless, sometimes, who knows?
Will the race director let him through? This is the question. Because it may look like the grid is already formed without him being there. But it'd be interesting to see the race director.
Clearly...
The race director may let him. No, because wouldn't first have the inside line?
Not necessarily. That's the thing. There's some tracks, and I feel like.
Okay, so getting the word to me that potentially first has the outside line at Red Bull Ring for the start in ACC. So that position may be his. Here he comes. He's going to be let through. Race director. Common sense has prevailed.
Interesting.
They will let him come to the front. So
With manual starts, it's definitely something that can be done, at least. Yes. Another curveball, as we got the number 6 car, Foxtrot is I think having some issues with phasing back to pit every now and again. Hopefully server issues will be the last of us, coming into what is the biggest racetrack that's coming to ACC. So yeah, I have to admit, I'm a bit annoyed. I paid $20 for just this track. I don't know that I use the GT2 cars, and some of the bugs, seeing cars phase through the floor, I will say, I'm not too impressed. And also with apparently too quick through the pit entry, you get a track limit warning, which was verified by other people as well in the race that we did on the weekend.
wow. Okay, so classic Kunos stings then for a new release.
Yeah, that's I'm not too happy, especially when you've not exactly done a new LiDAR scan for this track. But anyway, that's me just being a grumpy old shit.
Well, hopefully, maybe in the next update there can be a few patch repairs to the old RBR before Nords drops and everybody ditches every other racetrack ever.
Yeah, it's Monza and Spa in the retirement home. It's Nords is my new best friend.
Oh man, I'm so keen for the Nords life to come. I think words can't describe how much I'm so keen to see it come to ACC. It better be good, Kunos. It better be good.
As we going double file currently, Graham Hill in the 14 BMW. A battle of the front engines for the front of the grid. I wasn't kind of expecting it. I was expecting a Ferrari, I have to admit. But all of what's quick and the dry is going to be put to rest, and who is going to have the car for the wet. It's going to get even wetter. How glorious. So, definitely, I think everyone's on the wet tyres, that's for sure. As we line up on the grid now, Graham Hill ahead of Ben Wittner, followed by Cook and Hignett. Hignett right on the gearbox of Wittner. Might get checked up a bit when it comes to green, and we're on the way for the season finale. A good jump from Hill as well, and he might clear BMW, but oh no, Wittner sends it up the inside, shuffles him a little bit. There's contact between the two, but they both keep it straight. Everyone looking like they've gone through turn 1 without too much drama, as Hignett has a run now on Hill for turn 2, the Ramus curve. And looks like Hill is just clear of it as well, as Cook is now on the fret from Greco in the McLaren. And I think Greco might have that day done with the acceleration. But nope, they're still side by side. Raschuti waiting in the wings for any more drama, as Greco pulls away from the Porsche as well and gets it down into the gloss gold corner. Pretty damn tidy start. Very impressed with the field. I'd love to see it. Hopefully a bit more racing from there. Hignett all the way on the back of Hill rides away. As Raschuti now up the inside of Cook. Cook going backwards. This is not what we expected, absolutely. into Verve Curve. And Ignat right all over Hill as well. Taufik even a little bit struggling on power as well. So they're so close. Ignat right there, nibbling the rear bumper of the BMW. But a good jump from Wittner. Kind of just took his chance and went with it. Wouldn't have said anything to any numbers might be called from that. It was whether it was appropriate space given. Ignat having another look now into turn 1, but thinks better of it. Plans to get a clean exit.
Well, that was a bit of a spicy lap 1 there. The rain obviously doing its job in kind of mixing the field up just a little bit. Brad's in.
Dries. Asked the chat.
Oh, was he on dries? No way, Brad. What have you done? He will be absolutely kicking himself.
I was surprised how quickly he was going backwards. Yeah, that's surely got to be an error. I don't think that would even been strategic. Absolutely, it's just not the conditions for it.
The Porsche pit crew there will be getting fired this afternoon, as that was a terrible tyre choice, unfortunately, but he can get his mandatory stop out of the way and continue on for the next hour, if the Porsche fuel tank allows him to. But yeah, we've got a bit of a front running here of the top 5, where Vintner still leading from Hill. He's done an incredible job of just sending it up the inside and managing to keep that track position, hitting it all over the back of Hill, looking very racy. And yeah, as you said, Greco doing well in McLaren, keeping Rashudi at bay. So top 5's managed to run off a little bit. I think there was a bit of contact between the likes of Vintner's off. Vintner has binned it out of turn 1. He has managed to have a bit of a Barry Crocker there, as he's come out of turn 1 and managed to send it into the fence. There doesn't look like there's too much damage on the front of that car. We do have a bit of a replay from another angle. We might be able to see if he managed to go off on his own, or whether he was assisted in that. I dare say he may have just hit the inside curve just a little bit too much, sending the car a little bit unstable. So that sends Hill back up into the top position. Yeah, we need to see what's going on there. What is going on with Split Green tonight, Cam? What is going on?
I do not have the answers, as we also have Taufik in the pits in the 711 Ferrari. Dare say maybe number 1.
He was struggling at the start for sure. I saw him come through turn 1 at the start, and he was falling down the field. So potentially another one there who may have started on dries. There was a little bit of argy-bargy between some of the top runners there. So a little bit of contact has kind of separated the grid a little bit. But we do have... Here's the replay. He's gone wide. He's gotten up on the curb, and he's just gotten loose a little bit. He's just managed to get it on the grass. He's managed to keep it straight. He's not into any of the walls. He hasn't swung it around. That is spicy at best. That is well done, mate. Well done, Vintner. You've managed to keep it straight, not send it around in the wet. Good job.
Yep, he lives to die another day. That's for sure. And he's only in P5 as we've got a 10-second penalty. Car 24, that's Sean Muller in the silver Porsche, and down there in P13, that's not at all what he would have wanted for his campaign tonight. But yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, tricky for Ben. That was definitely could have. I was a bit worried the car was going to counter steer back into the. Back towards the traffic, and he wouldn't have had enough lock in the thing to get it back, but thankfully he did manage to do so. And yeah, tricky in a way. You know, you can afford to go wide there. Granted, you'll probably get a track limit coupon and in the dry, but you know, in the wet, it's just paint. It's painted tarmac, concrete, whatever you want to call it. It's not got any grip at all. And one tire spins up, and one tire grips, and then you know, next thing you know, you're heading towards the Armco. It's good to see Hill has kind of broken a little bit away from Hignett, but definitely still going right there as Greco is also eyeing up Rashudi. Rashudi a little bit wide on the entry. As we've got the car 43 of beaten. It's gone around at the last corner. Tricky for everyone out there. Yeah, lots of painted tarmac where the track limits end around here. So if you find yourself out there, you can find yourself going for a nice aquaplane for sure.
Tell you what though, with the way that the positions are falling at the moment, this plays a huge difference into the standings for the final championship. We've got G. Coman here who's managed to drive himself from essentially last on the grid back up into 8th. Hill is currently 6th in the championship. He's only 30 points behind Weatherburn. Also, around about 30 points behind Weatherburn, who's now down in 9th. But I think the big winner out of all this is Rashudi, who's now jumped up into 3rd. And if things play out the way that they do at this point in time, Rashudi may actually jump up into the 2nd spot of the championship, considering that Brad Cook's now down in 16th. So the 2nd step of the championship.
Because he had a moment through Wind Curve and then even a bigger moment through the Red Bull Mobile corner, the last corner, and now he's going to give Wittner something to change for sure. Yep. If only we had a McLaren driver to tell us how squirrely that McLaren can be on power exit, especially in the temp conditions.
Yes is my answer.
Yes.
Yes is my answer. Can the McLaren get its power down effectively? It's hard to tell. It definitely loves to bog down and get a bit tail happy at times.
Meaning of bog down.
Bogged down in that when you're 45 degrees sideways, you don't go forward very fast.
Crying in the rain, Pally. Drive a real car. No.
How does the GTR fare around RBR? Surely it's a fun drive.
Oh, Hignett, sorry, I meant to say, really sending it into the Verf curve. Yeah, to be honest, like, it's quite good here, but the problem is I found out is that it's quick in places where every other car is not quick, but then it's really not quick in places where, put it this way, those two left-handers on the infield it's god slow through those. But it just leaps away on the straights, and the problem is that, unfortunately, I find out is people who are not so skilled behind the wheel just send it on you without realizing, you know, the car in front of you doesn't take the same corner speed that you do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, that just sounds like all you need to do is just quali first and then make the back of that car as wide as possible. That you have brought up a bit of a flaw there.
Anyway, yeah. Greco has left Ricciuti off the hook a little bit, to say the least, and has fallen behind Ben Wittner as well. So, yeah, not too great, but you know, can definitely recover. Can kind of, you know, wind in a little bit, maybe crack up an extra move at TC, but he goes nearly into the back of Wittner, and Barker nearly does the same as well, just with an extra snooker analogy. So, yes, not too, not what we want to see. Yeah, definitely still some close gaps out there. Could have been for these two. They both had their own moments, and I think there's, even with these cars, I think, you know, the McLaren Ferrari, quite some of the cars, we're seeing quite a difference in the approach of lines into Verf curve. It's a very interesting set of corners on this track. I think a lot of people, some people roll the speed in, some kind of arrest the speed earlier to get a good exit.
Oh, it's the Aston at the back there. White, very sideways. That was a brown pants moment if I've ever seen one. Sorry to cut you off there, Cam, but he was all sorts of sideways with Gia Coleman right behind him.
Yep, Ash White doing a very good job in the What Are You Talking Beat racing car. Is now under threat from Gia Coleman, which we haven't seen. Did Gia Coleman just sneak into this race last minute? I don't even remember where he was in qualifying.
He didn't post a time in qualifying. He was there, but it didn't look like he posted a time. As he makes a very nice move up the inside there. So, yeah, my understanding is Gia Coleman started from the back and he's doing a last to first challenge.
As well as a few other people in this grid, I think. Unintentionally. Oh, very deep though. Surprised Aston had some good ground down there to come back at it before that kind of was done at the Ramus curve. But not the case. And, yes, it's really watch what they're doing. I mean, I think, I was a bit worried that, maybe this is the Ferrari split, and worried that if this is a dry race, I think the Ferraris would be in a much better standing. It's just, it's a quick car around here, but it's also, with it being such a good race car, it's a dangerously good combination. But, throw a bit of water in it, and it, kind of equalizes things a bit. That's why I like it.
Yeah, they do say rain is the great equalizer. We throw a whole lot of Hobbsy's bathwater at it. And
how did we go?
Soaked.
Nearly 15 minutes without mentioning patented.
I was waiting for you to bring it up, and I was just like, well, at what point do I need to just say it straight out?
I still haven't received the cease and desist, so I still don't think he's in on the job, despite my excellent Photoshop skills last week.
Well, it's no part of it. But yeah, we've got...
I'll just take the profits.
You'll just take all the profits, for sure. That's the way you got to do it.
This gap has been as steady as a rock pretty much the whole run of this race. I think Ignat, he would have been upset to kind of lose the lead at the start of the race, but it's looking good for... sorry, Graham Hill, I should say. And, yeah, we haven't seen too much of Graham. I think he's always kind of just been there. So Gia coming on the inside of Greco. Oh no, sorry, that's
Barker. That's Barker, but that'll bring Gia Coleman back into play here as these boys fight. As we saw, they were very sliding and sideways through the infield there. So this is bringing Gia Coleman essentially into the top 5 as these two guys keep going for it. You can see, look at the.
Oh, it's really wide from Greco.
He's up on the curb. Barker's into the grass. Gia Coleman's going to make it on Greco. You can just see from the attitudes of the drivers, they were just absolutely sending it in a very wet track.
Yeah, it's kind of like I like to think it's kind of a little bit like racing on an old school car with sort of more softer suspension and the tyre road where you kind of got that flex in the tread blocks where you kind of pitch it in just to get the car turned in. Then you kind of have to deal with it for the rest of the race, the rest of the corner. Unfortunately, yeah. For Greco, he's got. I think that car is quick, but just not really kind of suited to the rain. Like, what would you have done if you had a wet setup, but you also had your dry setup? Bear in mind, you hadn't raced your wet setup. Would you have taken your dry setup with wet tyres, or gone for a wet setup in this case?
It does look like Greco is potentially running his dry setup. That's in some instances it's sometimes the devil you know versus the devil you don't. With the way that car is pitching sideways quite a lot, just even on turn in, I dare say he might be running the one setup for both wet and dry. If he did have a wet setup, a little bit more understeer and a bit more control, considering that this whole race is going to be essentially wet. I mean, we've got 49 minutes left on track. if not maybe a little bit more. We can still see 30 minutes into the distance. It's still going to be raining. It's Giacomo makes a very clean move up the inside into turn 1. Does manage to compromise Barker quite a lot. Greco in the McLaren is going to get the run. It's a very easy overtake there. I wonder if Greco's got the speed to take Giacomo. Giacomo's going to go defensive. Greco's going to go around the outside. It's going to be deep braking both. Barker comes back for the longest switchback you've ever seen. And it looks like Barker it's going to be a drag race. The McLaren's going to have the speed, but Barker is going to have the inside. They're going to go potentially 3 wide. What is this madness? Barker's going to keep the position. Giacomo's going to stay out. Go on. Greco is going to come back again, but he is going to have the outside line. There's a little bit of elbows out. There's argy-bargy. They're going to go side by side again. Giacomo's looking in his rearview mirror going, what the heck is going on? Please don't come near me. And it looks like we might settle back down, but Barker's got the run, so he is going to catch up a little bit to Giacomo. This is absolutely fantastic racing.
Excellent racing from all involved there. You didn't see any histrionics, and love that as well. I'm surprised how much the McLaren was gaining on them in the straights as well. Like crazy in a way. But unfortunately, he's now lost all of it. Those last 2 corners were really tripping Greco up in particular. He's going to be on the threat from Ash White now for the silver lead.
Yeah, it seems like he just doesn't have that last couple of corners dialed in. It is every time he sends the car around, he's either coming in just a little bit too hot and sending the rear of that McLaren around quite a lot, and he is jumping on the curbs a little bit, but you can see just the speed of the McLaren come down that straight as Barker does have to go defensive despite the difference in delta going into turn 1 at the start of this lap. White is just really sitting behind though. He is just having a look. See if these boys do get a little bit more argy-bargy the next time around. Giacomo has managed to make a bit of a gap here, but it does look like as Greco shows the nose. He's sent Barker wide. The dummy has worked. Barker is wide. He's still going to have the inside for the next corner. He was very much compromised. He's going to send it up. They're going to go side by side. No, there's a bit of elbow. Greco lucky to keep it on the track. He is unfortunately going to have to yield that position. He's going to stay right up on the bumper of Barker. White clearly doing a great job through the middle sector, gets right back onto this battle pack again. I wonder if patience will be on his side or whether he's going to have a look at it. But as we know, Greco hasn't shown it. Again, we see that McLaren very sideways through the second to last corner. As he hits the dip into the last corner, compromises his speed dramatically. That Aston looking to try and compromise on that, but unfortunately, if he doesn't make a move into turn 1, that McLaren is going to run away up the next straight.
Say the Ferrari's got probably the superior TC in these conditions, but it seems to be like, in particular, like really bogging down if you don't get the line and the exit quite right, especially at this curve in particular. You see. Really good speed from Greco on the entry there, and obviously some great speed from McLaren down the straight as well. But I think if Barker kind of tidies up his line as we're seeing now, he's got enough to keep Greco at bay. He just needs to not be intimidated and just kind of pull away, keep the line clean, and he'll surely pull away from Greco.
Yeah, he'll be hoping that White starts to attack Greco soon and just give him a little bit of breathing space, because if he doesn't let the distance between him and Greco grow just a little bit, he will be an issue coming into turn 2. Do we count that straight, that second straight, as a corner? I don't know if the game counts it as a corner or not, but that McLaren manages to gain so much speed down the second straight that it's like the Ferrari standing still. He's managed to get a bit of a better run through the second to last corner. It's a little bit compromised going into the last corner, but he's on the grass. He's done well to keep it, but White has just backed off at this point a little bit and just gone, you know what? I think that might be a little bit sketch.
When the McLaren just sits too low, especially these kind of conditions, and also just the compression you get through that last corner as well. It just looks so. It doesn't look fun out there.
I dare say he's probably hoping he had a wet setup at this point in time. Potentially make that car just a little bit more stable. But as he just cuts the inside of the corner just a little bit. Look at the delta between him and Barker. Yet again, just through that first sector.
Yeah, one mistake from Barker is all it's going to take really for Greco to pounce on it again. We've seen that power oversteer as well from the McLaren again on the exit. Does compromise his run down to rock curve. We've seen Giacomin get close to Wittner as well, just up the road. So it's all to play for. There's lots of battles going on up and down this whole grid. It's quite wide from Greco, but it doesn't really compromise his run too badly. It's keeping Ash White at bay for now. Yeah, Giacomin definitely car on the move right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Vinton will be feeling the pressure now, seeing that Giacomin is now under that second. And we'll see how the two cars kind of fare here. Again, I don't really have much gauge on how well the AMG does in a straight line up the straights here. So it looks like the Ferrari and the AMG are relatively even. It doesn't look like the Ferrari has the legs at this point in time to make any sort of move on the AMG through there, but we do see the Ferrari has a bit of a better exit through the corner.
Very hard to tell with the AMG. It's quite a strangled engine in that car, as well as it can be quite draggy when it's at full aero, which it may or may not be here tonight with the wet conditions. Also the straight line speed is a byproduct of your corner exit, and dare say the Ferrari is kind of king of the corner exits with some of the speeds it can take. Granted, if it's not on the really slower corners and it can keep those turbos spooled up. But Ben Wittner soaking up the pressure so far, but dare say I don't think he has. I think Giacomin's got a bit of a pace advantage still on him.
It'll be a bit of a struggle. So just looking down the field, that rubber band seems to have snapped a little bit on Hignett. He's now over a second and a half behind Hills, so he potentially may have just lost a little bit of pace. Giacomin takes the fastest lap. It's spicy, and Yoda is not on the list. Where is Weatherburn? Has Weatherburn
the whole race? I think he might have been the other car disconnected.
DC. No, he was up there in the top 10 for a little while.
I'm trying to remember seeing the yellow Eminem's Ferrari now. Kind of blanking a little bit, so
He didn't get much stream time, but he was definitely there. And looks like he may have also DC'd. So unfortunate for Weatherburn. Would have been great to see him finish this race off, as he was in the top 5 in the championship and potentially will now lose that top 5 position if Graham Hill keeps the top spot.
I'll say chat will probably fill us in, and chat gets confirmed it was a DC. Unfortunate. One more.
Well, that opens up him in the championship wise. That opens him up to potentially Hill, Barker, and Vintner. And I think he may be safe from Greco, but only just if he is. So commiserations there, Mr. Weatherburn. Hopefully everything's all good.
Bit of a bad exit from Ben, and Giacomin's not close enough to get close, but definitely a lot closer this lap, for sure. Good run on the exit as well, out of the first corner, going through what is the second corner, but no one really cares. It counts as a corner, so it really counts for the bikes. Is he he going to send it from this far back? Oh, he is.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
He
He's
is. It's
sent
not
it. That's
stopping,
gonna call.
Oh, it's a Verstappen Leclerc recreation if I ever saw one. But that, yeah, the redress on the exit definitely not part of that script. I think Jerry Cumming could have come out ahead on the exit there if he wanted to, but I think he did left off. I knew that might have been just a bit over the line, to say the least.
Yeah, just a little bit of lack of patience there from Jerry Cameron. I know it's definitely a bit of a defender's track for the second portion of this lap. But I think you were right. I think he may have just had the speed as he's all over the back of him coming into sector 3. That is a speedy looking Ferrari, but yeah, just a little bit of lack of patience. Could have potentially tried to make a run down the into turn 3 if he wanted to, but we'll see how he goes again as we go through the last corner. Vincent looking very compromised here, that Ferrari looking pretty racy. Vincent is going to take the defensive line. And he's moved back across. It's an interesting, I wonder if that's moving under brakes there might have been called. That's a little bit dicey making that kind of move, especially in the wet where braking lines are definitely compromised. I think Vincent is not having a bar of it.
Yeah, it's always a tricky drill to enforce. You could argue he moved on the brakes, but so did Jake Coleman. It just doesn't really matter when there's the car behind.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I think you were right before. I think there was a little bit of a touch there. We'll let chat be the unofficial adjudicators on that one as to whether it was moving under brakes or not. And there we go. Giacomin.
Numbers were called this time.
Numbers were called. 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 17. So that was the collision we saw last lap.
Yep. Going
into what I'm going to call turn 2, where he did kind of dive bomb and send it. And he did redress, but it doesn't matter. In our rules, if you redress, it's a very gentlemanly thing to do, but punishment/crime.
Just settle down, chap. We get a bit carried away there, but yes. I'm not surprised.
What? I mean,
not surprised Ben did call that out because it wasn't.
No, not at all. It was definitely a move, and what I'll be interested to see is whether Luca can keep it clean moving forward. As he says,
gotta go again.
That's going to cause all sorts of issues. Lessons were not learned. That was a 10-second penalty, and then we've gone and done the exact same thing. I wonder if the stewards will look upon that a little bit more harshly. You got 10 seconds last time. Do we dare say that that might be a little bit more than 10 seconds this time around on the basis that it was the same crime, so to speak? Chat calling for 10 minutes sin bin.
That's a paddling.
I guess that goes to my statement that I was talking about before, is whether Jay Coleman was going to keep it clean and be patient and not let the red mist descend.
It's like that scene from Avengers. It was just like, you got past, but at what cost? What did it cost?
Yeah, everything. And that's it. I think there's a thought going through Luca's head at the moment that he needs to clear Vintiner in order to try and clear that 10 seconds as much as possible, but that's going to be another paddle, and I do believe, I think there's another paddle on the way.
I don't want to word. We've never seen Jake Coleman and Hignett on track together.
Ever? Yep.
Ever. That's my Connor.
It's like Connor's in the room with us.
You're a bit shorter than I expected. Anyway, we all go loopy at the end of the seasons. It's in the script.
It is in the script, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, J. Coleman hasn't won a race this season, and I think he was planning on doing a bit of a last to first challenge to see if he could get that first seasonal win in place. But I will admit, as we've seen in the last few races, J. Coleman has proceeded to provide the spice. Whether some of the other drivers are happy with that.
It's either the speed that the last one came in. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything come in, which it may have. To be fair, Stewart's had the angles. We only saw it from literally
There
as I
it
talk
is.
about it.
There it is. As I was mentioning, he got 10 seconds for the last one. You commit the same crime again. I know that the stewards do look upon that disfavourably. He now has the drive-through.
It's a big paddling.
It's a big paddling, but
lessons weren't learned.
Lessons weren't learned, and personally, I think the right call was made. I think he needed a paddling for that one.
I was expecting let's say, a harsher penalty was going to be coming. I'm not surprised. Quite a short pit lane here, granted. So maybe that's some reassurance to Gia Carmen.
He's been sent to the bin.
Yes, a DT by him. Not the only one out there with a misdemeanor, but probably with the most points on his license. I think he might have to flip the card over with the amount of strikes it's got on this road.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
I just have to point out that all the thoughts and comments made by commentators in the booth of their own individual opinion do not represent
Luke Johnson. Send your hate cards to Postbox somewhere.
9999 Crow's Nest, New South Wales.
Yeah, exactly. Send your burning bags of fire his way, please.
So we see Giacomo's going to keep going around. He's in the grass and he's lost it.
He's in the fence.
Absolutely lost it. He's in the fence. He's dipped it into the grass. This race has turned from bad to an absolute disaster for Luca Giacomo. He is sitting in the fence. He's returned to pits. He is out of here. What an absolute moment. What an absolute moment for Luca Giacomo.
The man doesn't fail to make it interesting. I will give him that. Wow. Yes. Not the only one going wide at the last corner, but enough for it to dip the tyres into the grass and then bottom out the car, and then a tank slapper that was big enough for even Luca couldn't catch. As the gap between Hignett and Hill is now massive.
Oh. So what's happened there?
5.5 seconds, so maybe
what has happened there? Well, it's an interesting one, right? Because the pit stop is fuel mandatory only, and it's set to 25 seconds. And if you take tires, it's 30. That's a 5-second difference.
There's a minimum of 25 seconds.
Hey?
It's a minimum of 25 seconds.
Yes, if you take just fuel, it's a minimum 25 seconds. If you take tires, it's 30. So there's a 5-second difference there, and there's now a 5-second difference between Hill and Hignett. Well, 5.5 seconds. So has Hignett taken fresh tires?
We shall see. Car 8, David Greco has thrown a 5-second penalty for collision on that 20. We didn't see what that was about, but yes, 5-second penalty. Yeah, nothing insurmountable in that. You can definitely recover. I wonder who he was fighting. It must have been maybe Ash White.
It was potentially Barker or Ash White.
I think Barker may have pulled away by that point. Who knows? We'll see. I'm sure some more info at some point. But yes, interesting battle in the lead as Bittner now also comes into the box, now exit the box. There's some more experts in the background. What do they think of the race?
They've just seen the replay of Luca Giacomin losing it.
I was going to say they'd probably just want to go play this one and then bring it all inside, mess up your car. Rashudi in the pits as they're all kind of, you know, it's the halfway mark, it's the logical time to box. And, yes, not too much more to it. Yeah, it's, yeah, Giacomin hasn't left the pit box. It's a unfortunate pirouette. Only 5 more cars circulating left the box. So 2 are now in the pits with Greco and Rashudi. Sean Mullet's not going to come in. He'll unfortunately have to serve a 10-second penalty, and also Greco will be serving that 5-second penalty before they can make any changes to his car. So that's very wide for Graham Hill out there. Let's see how we go.
Don't make the same mistake. Don't tip those wheels.
I've been wondering if there's been any kind of track limit shenanigans out there, because in the dry it's quite an easy track to get track limits here. It's particularly at turn 1, because you don't really have much delta, and it's very. The problem is if you overshoot turn 1, you technically carry more speed, so there you go quicker, but then you lose it all for the exits, so you can get a track limit without actually going really quicker in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I do wonder, because in some instances the wet can be even more brutal in track limits than it is in the dry. I don't know what it's like for Red Bull. I will be honest and say I've not done any wet running here at all. And I don't think I'm the only one, as the split may have shown. But we see as the majority of the field has made their pits. Oh, Rashudi has lost out to Vintner.
Interesting.
Rashudi was miles in front of Vintner. Pre-pit stop. And, I mean, Rashudi's looking very, very fast. He's going to send the nose in on the inside. They're going to go side by side. Vintner's a bit wide. He has put a bit of a wheel in the dirt there. Rashudi does have to get out of the way. They're going to go side by side again into the second to last corner. Vintner's going to have the inside line, but Rashudi is going to be all sorts. Oh, he's going to send the nose. He's going to have a look. No, we've decided better on that one. And car 13, a 5-second penalty for an infraction on lap 24. So car 13 is Barker.
An infraction, I've never seen that come up.
I've seen infractions before, but that could be a whole different number of things.
I've always said it's for passing off track at turn 1. Does that make sense? Thank you very much, Nigel.
Thank you, Doubles. Thank you for that, matey. The only other thing I've seen an infraction for is hurling abuse at the race director in the middle of a race. So thank you for clarifying that one.
That was I wasn't in that split for that. I think I remember that. That's not tolerated.
Definitely not tolerated. And it was a lot bigger than 5 seconds, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. No matter what series you go to, or whatever continent, I don't think that's tolerated.
No, not at all. So yeah, Benny Vintner now has made up the position. He's made himself back into third, so that's looking good for him. I do wonder if Rashudi took fresh tyres on that one. Potentially making him lose that 5-second gap that was there.
It looked very all over the back a bit at the start, but it's kind of not so much this lap.
No, not at all.
Speed a bit.
Yeah, I mean in the wet, taking fresh tyres is definitely, in my opinion, not the strat. I don't think fresh wet tyres halfway through. After 30 minutes, fresh wets is probably not the way to go. We can see that. You can see Hignet's 6.5 seconds now behind Hills. So whether he did take fresh or not, or whether he got pushed back in the box, I'm sure someone from chat might be able to share a bit of insight there. But the couple of dark horses here that have managed to climb their way back up the field after what would have been considered a disastrous start is Brad Cook. Yeah, now on screen. He has made his way back up into 5th after taking dries at the start.
I was going to say, John did make a good point at the very start of this race when we saw Brad Cook come in, and he said you very much could just go to the end of the race on now that he's done his mandatory, which is viable, and I think that's definitely what the current game plan is. He would have lost 30 seconds by, well, actually like lost that time, it's obviously the minimum pit stop anyway, 25 seconds. But yeah, on for a good result, and
Rashidi sends it up the inside. There's going to be a bit of a touch. It is going to send Vintner wide. He's going to come back on track.
Hope that didn't give him a track limit. It does reset now that all the your delta does reset with the pit stops, so you can easily get one these first few laps. Ritudi's definitely got pace out there, and
yeah, just the attitude that's coming out of that Lamborghini at the moment. He's absolutely sending it inside and back outside as he approaches some of those braking zones. So he is feeling pretty racy and would be looking to try and get past Vintner as fast as possible, considering that there is potentially, so only 7 seconds down the road, a Porsche that could potentially be brought back into this.
Absolutely, and we saw how much time even Barker, when we had that great battle between Barker and Greco, how much time they were losing. No discredit to Ash White. He was catching him quite quickly, even if he didn't really have the outright pace. So, Judy, I think it's always been a bit of a struggle when he's in traffic. He definitely excels when he's kind of got his own clear air to do what he needs to do, but I would have thought Judy, but if he took tyres, he would have had the gap in hand. So maybe take tyres, maybe miss your box, maybe have to revert, get moved around. Maybe just a bit too late on the starter, forget to turn your ignition on. It's all these little things which it sounds silly, but there's a lot of drivers out there that can't really. Not to say they can't, but it's just like you could that 2 tenths that you go looking for in one corner, you could easily get that back away just nailing your bloody pit stops, people. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Pit stops are the huge wild cards for any race, for track position. There is just so much that can go wrong during your pit stop that can. It absolutely is a hero or zero moment. 100%, especially if you get a stop go 30 for slightly speeding. It's one of those things that changes absolutely everything.
I don't think it's really going to affect this race too much, but I think the rain will stop in the last 5 or 10 minutes. This current rain according to the trajectory. You can see it in this corner, like the mid-engine cars, like the Lambo, they just got the front end so much quicker through these corners and get the car turned into the rear. So, but as Ben gets a little bit early and getting the power down, the torque from the 6.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 is enough to unstick this big Mercedes. A good valiant drive here. They could have easily faltered and fell apart like a building made out of Lego after his first spin at turn 1, but it's still out there and on right now could find himself a step on the podium.
Firstly, you take that back. Lego is the strongest material known to man.
When you step.
All buildings made out of Lego are indestructible.
Sure, buddy. It's probably Maybe they make houses out of Lego, given the prices of property in Australia.
They should. But I mean, if you consider the price of Lego, I don't know if it'll be
The only house I
economic
can
either.
afford is a Lego set.
Oh, as we see Rashudi's got the nose up on the inside. Was there contact? Ooh.
So you gotta say,
Doesn't look like it. He's just
kind of
managed to pull
went
back
wide
into the
and-
line. Holy.
Yeah, this for the next 19 minutes, please. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I get the
Well, he
feeling.
might have to run underneath. He's got the inside line.
He's going to try and throw it up the inside. He's going to force Vintner wide, but Vintner's going to have the inside for the next couple of corners.
Too much space given. It's really
There's a
hard to tell where
lot
the
of
car
space
is.
given, but that Lamborghini is looking so racy.
The car's up
Rashudi.
ahead as well.
Oh, there's a yellow flag in front. 99. Is it in the middle? I don't know what's going on there. You can't park there, mate.
Every Australian catchphrase. Costa went for a bit of a spin there on the exit. I imagine Octane 9. Just to give you something, but I think the move was kind of they were kind of a line formation by that point anyway.
As we look at the leaders, there's now a 7.2 second gap between Hill and Hignett, so maybe Hignett didn't take tyres on that one. He maybe managed just to have a bit of a shocker in his pit stop, and Hill has capitalised on that quite a bit. And this battle for third rages on, 11 seconds behind. Cook is 8 seconds behind this battle duo. So we haven't really seen that time really drop down too much. But Tafiq has reeled Cook in a little bit. He's only 1.3 seconds behind there, so P5 still potentially up for grabs. Barker in 7th with a 5-second penalty after Greco served his 5-second penalty and has gained about half a second or so in the last lap or two. So those positions will switch in their current order with that 5-second penalty if it stands. But we stay on track at the moment with Vintner and Rashudi, which is just raging on. There's compromises everywhere by both drivers. Vintner is going to have to go defensive. Going to try and force Rashudi wide.
Undercut, get the clean exit. That's all you can do. Rashudi wasn't able to do it. It's horrible when you go for a move at that corner because it just means both cars just get bad exit regardless. But sometimes you got to go for the move. Looking to the outside. Yeah, you do.
Oh, Vintner's a little bit wide of the apex there, but he's going to get the power down.
Yeah, the torque just really helps the engine kind of slingshot down this back section, especially as the attraction zone of the previous corner is on a bit of an uphill, which does the Lamborghini no favours, that's for sure.
No, not at
lap
all. It
car
is.
coming up ahead, but I dare say they'll probably get out of the way and won't affect this one too bad.
Yeah, that'll be the Lamborghini of Foxtrot. We see Hignett is bleeding time to the leader. Hill has found pace. He's down to 8 seconds now.
I don't think Cook's got the tyres to really make an impact on these guys.
It looks like Cook is slowly reeling them in, but Tafiq has he's now less than half a second behind Cook, so that'll start a battle on its own for that 5th position.
These two, I mean, Tafiq kind of boxed only a lap or two after Cook, if I recall, and he's kind of, I think it was about a 5 second gap between them then, and he's just been slowly just reeling him in a little bit. And it's really coming down to the death now in the last 14 minutes. And I can understand. It really depends on what kind of car you're driving and how hard you've been on the tyres, whether you wanted to take tyres or not. Not that these guys had the option because they had to commit to their strategy. But I wonder if maybe running a little bit shy on the tread blocks out there. It's kind of pulling away a little bit.
Well, he may have the freshest tyres out of everyone, considering he did start on the dries. And Rashuti still stuck behind the bumper of Vintners. Oh, as he goes very wide. He is full send here. He is going to be dreaming of that bumper tonight, unfortunately. That is going to be haunting him for a little while at this point.
I still think well, he looks to the inside, but it's just kind of more to force a mistake, if anything. And even if he gets a good exit, he doesn't really have the power to make anything really work for him. And it's really just
that Lamborghini is slow in a straight line. It kind of just hits a brick wall. It relies on the aero just a little bit to get the slipstream, but it really doesn't have power of its own in terms of top speed.
Down the field, Greco's really dropped back. He did have a 5-second penalty, but he's dropped quite far back from Ash White, who's now taking a silver lead, and he's got a 10-second gap between them.
I dare say Greco's had a moment because he was 3 seconds behind Barker and he'd already served his 5-second penalty in the pits. So the fact now that he's a good 24, 25 seconds. Oh, we've had a swap. Rashuti has managed to get past Vintner. A swap has occurred. Rashuti is on the bottom step of the podium.
Vintner kind of just got a bit of a slide on the exit of the Verve curve at turn 8. We did see a few times it kind of wasn't really getting the traction down, but maybe he has something to come back at Ricciuti, but as Ricciuti just nails his corner, as you can see, I think he was quicker than Bittner, but just in the wrong places for the Lambo, but now he's got a clear air and just got to run away. Really close.
Very deep on the brakes there.
This is the bit where his car is going to be stronger. Trudy wasn't too phased and didn't get too upset from the late braking from Ben Vidner there, and especially for these next few corners, he's gonna pull a gap surely. That's where the Lambo is going to be much quicker than this Mercedes, relatively speaking.
Yep. We'll see if we can get a replay of that pass. Here we go. Yeah. We're on board now, so.
It's a rut curve, a little bit wide from giving Retreat something to play at, but nothing's bad.
Oh, he's hit the sand. He's hit the sand.
Take a lot of inside curve for a minute in the car as well, in the Lambo. And yeah, 2 wheels in the gravel is all it took. It gave Retreat the run into the corner, and thankfully, that was the pro racer he is, didn't just turn down on him, just refused to see him and just try to take his own corner, and he was there. They done, but maybe a mistake or two from Retreat would be enough to bring Ben back there. He's still definitely not falling away. May not have the out and out pace, but probably got the more raceable car in these conditions.
Very deep again. Yeah, it was very clean racing there.
At that corner, like we see it with the F1 cars, like they don't really take the apex because they try to kind of take a sort of V shape off apex to try and maximize their exit, but I don't think that's really what. I don't think Ben's perfecting that one that way.
I'm not sure if it's the F1 line that he's going for at this point in time.
But they do avoid the apex just because they can straighten out the apex, the exits, mainly because they've got, to be fair, they've got million newton meters of torque underneath them, which we don't have that much.
You know, the humble GT3 car with their
But I found in the
500
GTR,
horsepower, roughly.
It was somewhere like that with the GTO with the turbos. The quicker you straighten out, the faster she goes.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for that tomorrow. So you take the F1 lines instead of everybody else.
Maximum jan.
As we see, Cook is definitely under threat here. Tafiq there in the 711 Ferrari. Looking very racy. He's caught up quite a lot. He's now right on the back of that Porsche.
Track's gone to damp when it was wet earlier.
And it's still raining. How has that
doesn't-
worked?
I don't know. It's not like we got a million cars out there. But who cares? As that thing's going around the outside of Cook.
Please explain how a
A little
track
bit
that
of hip
has
rub.
16 cars out there with Hill and Hignett both running. JC, that never happens. JC, that never happens. Cars 1 and 2 both with the fastest lap, exactly the same. Can I get confirmation from JC in chat that that never happens? Never happens.
That's rubbish. I literally have a screenshot of top 3 all at the same lap time.
But
Two's easy. Top 3 is easy.
How's a track with 15 cars actively running around at the moment, with the rain still coming down, gone to damp?
It's damp, bro.
Kunos, please explain.
It's not like this track came out in 2014.
There's a few features involved, I think, with this track.
Yeah, a bit weird. It's not even very warm. It's 19 ambient. It's not exactly freezing, but it's not exactly.
But water is
Bahamas
still
up
falling,
there.
unless there is an absolutely supreme stormwater drainage system going on at RBR.
It just looks a lot wetter than it is. I think it's a weird thing, isn't it? Even at the start, it was damp. Maybe that's why a lot of drivers were thinking maybe dry. Some drivers thought dry might be a shout. They were wrong, but yeah. Greg Cook doing a very stout defense here to keep Epic at bay. Porsche's definitely got those legs on the exit, as it should. One of the key selling points of the Porsche. There's Sean Muller. He's driving right now, but listen to the 9,000 RPM, flat 6, 4 litre.
Your short impression is flawless. Hold on.
Like he was here.
Connor, what do you think?
Go, Matt Campbell. I'm sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Sean impression and the Connor impression are very close.
It's one size fits all.
I'm not even going to ask you to try and do an impression of me because I think it'll just sound the same.
I don't even want to do it.
Oh, as we see the two purples, the top two purple spots have disappeared. Rashudi is going faster. Oh, as we've got Tafiq too fast, Tafiq around the outside.
Yeah, Ferrari turbos. It's so hard to tell what the Ferrari is like. Some tracks it's quick in the straights. Like we saw, like when it first came out, like Bathurst, it would be like the fastest car in the straights, and sometimes it's like a dog on a rug.
The Ferrari really is an interesting one that I just think it's a little bit inconsistent across the tracks. You really don't know if it's going to be like the.
I think the Italians just they put all their efforts into
it's like in some tracks it's like the slower top speed, but it's got like higher cornering speed, and it's like really grippy, and it's got better cornering, but it's a dog in a straight line. And then on other tracks, it's like an absolute weapon in a straight line.
Chris Taylor says they nerf the turbos pretty hard. So there's no hyperspeed 6 gears, so maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why.
Can I have the hyperspeed turbos in the GTR 6 gear? Because then you wouldn't see me for dead. But anyway.
I think he just needs to do the strat where he just puts it into 6th and can do over 100 kilometers, no throttle input.
It was pretty ridiculous when it did
that would win him the race, surely.
I always joke that, you know, there was a hybrid unit in that thing that's disguised in the air conditioning motor.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've all made the joke that it's got a hybrid unit in there somewhere, and I think that proves it. Conspiracies at OOR.
Yeah, Chris Taylor, he's clearly like so fed up with the Ferrari, he went and drove a clearly much better car, which was the Audi. How did it go on the weekend for you in that Audi with Hobbsy and Connor Hines, so to speak? In the, I thought we had struggles out there. Jeez, you boys had a struggle.
Yeah, go on, Chris.
I've never seen a car make a bunch of fast drivers look so mid.
Wait, all right, here we go. There's
I'm saying it's the car. Like, it made they're all
Chris,
quick drivers.
Hobbsy, Connor, all I heard was Cam calling you guys mid. That's all I heard.
Yeah, out of context.
Ooh, the feet. That's the grass there. Always dangerous.
It's Audi teams.
Chris saying the Audi is back in the shed. That's probably where it belongs, mate.
It's a shame.
Oh, look, I love the Audi. Having seen the car in real life a few times now, both at like Melbourne and at Bathurst.
We're spoiled down here. Like, we got so many Audis racing on this one in Australia as well.
The Audis just sound so filthy. You have the quiet BMW and the nice clean run of the Porsche and everything that goes past, and then suddenly the Audi comes past and it just sounds filthy, and it's just the loudest, most incredible noise. And unfortunately,
it's got that higher red line than the Lambo even. It's got like 200 RPM more, and it's just enough for it to really sing.
Yeah, and it properly cackles on gear shifts. And it's just a shame, because like I do love it, but in this game it's not there yet.
Yeah, absolutely. As anyone wants it, do yourselves a favor and look up the Audi R8 TV commercial. It is amazing. Because all they did was just run it on a dyno with no rear bodywork and just let the V10 sing with the camera up close. It was amazing. It's like, that's all it needed.
There's nothing scarier than seeing either a Lambo, Gallardo, or Huracan, or an Audi R8 with its rear bumper removed.
Yeah. I was never really a big Lambo fan of the V10. I thought the Audi was... I just found it better looking car. It's a shame it's unfortunately, yeah, but I think there's a lot of people saying like, they killed the GT program and the WEC program to do F1, but the road car was also ending production, and I don't think they can really they can't race the GT3 if it's not based on the current production road car anyway.
It's not in their strategy at the moment. I think Volkswagen's really pushing Audi, I think, to be a bit more of its luxurious top-end brand, particularly in the EV market, and moving away from the things such as big V10s and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see. Is Hill gonna make it across the line?
Right on the deck.
He's right on the line, so Hill will finish it. This is the last lap. Hignet will come across in second, exactly 5 seconds behind Rashuti.
5 seconds? 5 minutes?
Yes. Rashuti comes across the line in third after that battle with Vingenaar. Vingenaar, after having that oopsie, will manage to come back in fourth. Cook, after starting on dry tyres, will come back in fifth. He'll be very happy with that. Tafiq who also followed him into the pits very early on, coming home in 6th. Barker with a 5-second penalty, I think will retain 7th as White is still very, very far down the road, who will come across in 8th. Greco with the fastest lap of the race after having many moments on track with many elbows out and good clean battling as well, will come across the line in 9th. And your first Pro-Am of the night, right in the Ferrari, will come across in 10th.
Yep, and dare say that is going to, looking at the standings, that is going to seal the championship for Hignett. It was already sealed last race anyway, so, you know, old news. But well done to him on a amazing season 16 campaign, and well done on your Pro Championship. Looking also at it, Greco, you know, didn't win silver honors this time round, but also will take that silver championship as well. As we look to the overall standings for the race, let's pre-practice.
That's free practice, and we jump across to the race. There we go. We've got Hill, Hignett, Raschuti, Vintner, Cook taking out your top 5. Jumping across to silver, we had White, Greco, and Muller coming across in 3rd. Your Pro-Ams is right, Togolini and Costa, and your AM will be beaten. But it's been an absolute pleasure commentating this split. We have had some absolutely insane races and moments on track that I just wouldn't have believed if I didn't see it with my own eyes. And Cam, I really appreciate you joining me in the box, mate. It's
No
I know
worries.
you jumped in halfway through after JP kind of jumped out. To both JP as well. Been a pleasure being in the com box with you for the first half of this, and of course to Connor, who was with us for the most part and unfortunately had to step out a little bit late tonight. Of course, an absolute pleasure being in the com box with him as well. So thank you, Cam. Appreciate that, mate.
No worries. Yep. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to all the showrunners behind the scenes, stewards, race directors, Glenn, everyone, Neil, that puts us on. Shout out to, I think John Red will take the Pro-Am Championship, as obviously Gary Greco will take the silver, and I think Julian Graham might be just safe enough to take out the AM. Citation needed, and obviously post-race inspections with Motec and stuff like that pending, but congratulations to the 4 split champions, and even to those who came second, third. No matter where you came in the split, you made it here to the end. Good on you.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate every single competitor that jumps behind the wheel in our split green sprint series, and of course, chat. Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure engaging with you guys, and you guys getting to watch these races. And as always,
Thank you to Simmons Plains as well.
thank you, Simmons Plains, for providing great racing, and we will see you all next time. Have a good night.
Bye. Say goodbye.